Newton, the way you spin that story round. Always sharp, just like a tack when you're tracking the price of the dollar and pound. But drop the narrative, that thing that you inherited. Your history homos chariot just pulled up outside. Scott, William, Patrick on the scene, they're breaking up the subroutine. Something's crackling in your brain, and K-Ultra make you go insane. Hey, don't you know we're only on the case for a good time, baby? Took a Rhodes pill, now I'm reading these books for a long time, baby. Honey pots and psyop traps, you can trust the plan until you snap. Slop conspiracy everywhere. History homos clear the air. Close your eyes, what's truth or lie? Hiding in the space between. Reality's a tangled scene. Tune in, you'll know what I mean. Close your eyes, what's truth or lie? Hiding in the space between. Reality's a tangled scene. Tune in, you'll know what I mean. Hey, history homos only on the case for a good time, baby. Took a Rhodes pill, now I'm reading these books for a long time, baby.
Two, one. And we're live. Welcome back to the show. This week, joining Patrick and I is a return guest, friend of mine, and my co-host, we're both co-hosts on Monica's Movies. Welcome back to the show, Snobby Bobby.
Hey, thanks for having me back. Glad to be here.
Welcome back.
Glad
I'm
to have you
excited to
back.
talk about this too.
Yeah, well, this is a gift to Patrick. Although I don't know what he's done for me lately, but I've decided to bestow my generosity onto him.
You didn't
Because-
you didn't get the $10,000 I tied in a bag at the bottom of the river for you.
No, I missed that. I'll have to check around the river.
And we're gonna have to adjust for inflation at some point, which I'm sure you guys already did.
Ooh, that's a couple
Yeah.
bucks. You're not
Yeah.
wrong. I should
But
check that.
so Bobby's joining us this week. We're both giving Patrick a gift. You might even
Yeah, what's the
say.
occasion?
Yeah, I don't know what I did to deserve this.
You just not let him choose a topic ever, Scott?
Yeah, this was me.
I kind of
Exactly. I think, no, you nailed it. You nailed it. I'm throwing him a bone by being like, oh, I'll choose a movie you love. And that's like almost like you got to choose a topic.
almost. And if it was
Almost.
me, I would have read the 400 some page book I have at home about this movie. But I think we'll make do with yeah. There's enough
Sure.
to say.
It's a very domineering husband move. It's like, see, I do things for you.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, yeah. I'm manipulating him on the daily. Yeah.
I could, but there's worse things I could have been less prepared for. So
Yeah.
this
Oh
is one
no,
of
no.
my favorite
It's
movies.
definitely a sight for sore. I think you're definitely gonna enjoy this. But yeah, so we're doing this week. We're talking about Patrick's. I think you described it to me as your favorite movie at one point.
That vacillates. It depends, but it's always like the same A team of movies for me. Unfortunately, they're they're nothing. There's no deep cuts as far as I'm aware of. This being one of them, Night of the
So this is
Hunter.
how he wriggles out of me having done this. Is that he
Yeah,
goes, "Well,
no,
it wasn't really my favorite movie."
it's
So
one
I
of
don't.
my favorite movies. It depends on the time. Like I'll tell you, like if you catch me at the right corner at the right hour, I'll say this is the movie. I'll tell anyone to watch it. Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
there
depends
has
on
to
the
be
day.
one. But
I will say
the
it's one of those ones when people are openly like maybe people that aren't versed in black and white film. This is always one that I'm always like, you got to see Night of the Hunter. You know, it's like one of those go to Psycho, Night
Yeah.
of the Hunter. Fucking, that's it. That's pretty much it.
Well, I was gonna say,
oh,
I will
there's
say
more
that
than that.
this is my first time seeing this film, actually.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Uh,
Um,
despite my insistence,
yeah. Well,
it's been
listen,
I've
it's hard for
it's
me to
fine.
take a
There's
suggestion.
only so much time. I'm the same way. Yeah, it has to be worth your time. And it's
Yeah.
90 some minutes, so
Oh,
hopefully it's
on
not too
that
much of an
note,
ask.
Mike, Mike Brobody, the guy who came on our show and talked about Nietzsche, Fred Nietzsche.
Yes, yes.
This is me speaking directly to the camera right now. Mike, I'm sorry. This is because we're talking about this right now. Clearly, I have watched another movie since you told me to watch the movie The President's Analyst. And I have not yet watched The President's Analyst, but I will watch The President's Analyst. I promise.
Mike, on your behalf, I'll badger him to watch the
He will.
President's
He
Analyst.
will.
I can't. We can't have that going around that we're welching
Yeah.
on. Listen,
We're jipping him.
there's talk of gypsies in this
That's
movie,
why
which
I
I
said it.
appreciate.
Yeah.
But yeah, it covers a lot of
relevant.
bases. Even
Yeah.
just for a moment. It's
Yeah.
fun. Um, but Bobby, did you said that this Psycho anything else? Because
No, yeah, of course. I'm
yeah.
glad you gave me the opportunity to clear
Oh,
the record
sure.
there. No, I'm a fan of old movie. It's just as far as recommending it to, I guess, for lack of, I hate the word normie, but you know what I mean, like folks that aren't exposed or
Yeah.
seek
Yeah.
interesting films. This Psycho, Sunset Boulevard, a lot of
Never seen it.
Wilder, Double Indemnity, that kind of stuff
Yes. Oh yeah.
is kind of my favorite of this. I don't want to say this era because everything I
It's
named
a, yeah.
ranges from like the 50s on up to, so but yeah, and there's all kinds of good Hitchcock, of course, but yeah, there's always that conversation with folks where it's like, okay, where do I start with black and white film? And this is probably my first recommendation because it is so engaging. I think engaging is the word I'm
Yeah,
going.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes. Yeah, it doesn't dwell on anything
And
for
it's
too long.
wicked dark too. And I want to talk a little bit more about that later, but it's a
It's
very
too
dark,
early.
frightening, what's the word I kept hearing, a sense of dread
Nightmarish.
and atmosphere. And there's no Hollywood monster. Like what I mean by Hollywood monster is you have, and again, I don't want to bury the lead, but the lighting and the kind of German expressionism type
Mm,
shots and shadows and all that is very reminiscent of like a Universal monster movie or even like
very.
Mhm.
Fritz Lang's M, which is literally about I believe it's
Hmm.
about a child molester.
Yeah.
Yes.
Silent film. It's very throwback to silent films. It's like almost an homage to that. But at the same time, I get the feeling that this was like, we're just going to lean into our lack of budget and just make every shot look like a beautiful, well
Yeah.
thought out painting that you can just
Yeah.
you can
I
watch this
saw,
on mute and appreciate it.
I don't know. I think I actually did, like, this was like a New York Times columnist. I saw say this, but he said back in that time period, when you had a low budget, this was like given a B budget, like basically like a genre film, because it was a
Mhm.
horror film, so to speak. Although it definitely goes beyond just the horror genre. Um, but given that, at that time period, there was like no way to stretch your budget to have, if everything was going to be on a set, it was going to look fake. So you
So
may as well lean into it's
yes,
on a set lighting.
and that makes. I mean, I don't even want to call it accidentally or like a product of its necessity. The
Limitations.
budget, yeah, its limitations. Like that's definitely to its credit. Like
Yeah.
it's a beautiful deficiency, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that. So let's
As we've heard from Mr. Eddie Louis Boulier, yeah,
okay.
the architect
Check out
is
this week's bonus episode for
check
that
out the
for that.
bonus episode. Fantastic stuff. I'm still dwelling on it, Scott. It's
I'm
becoming
glad.
all the more interesting. The architect, the artist is limited by their audience as much as
Yes.
and the whoever commissions it, whoever's
He
paying for
almost
it.
You might want to argue that that's more important than a budget, and I would argue that all day. Right?
Sure. Yeah,
You have
absolutely.
limitations with a budget. You can't just throw money at, like, look at the like Michael Bay horse shit. Like that's
I know,
Yeah.
right? Great
billions of
That's
example of
right.
dollars.
a
It's
movie that spent a lot of money and yet is like just trash.
it's
Like,
because there's a big market in China for those Transformer
yeah.
films.
Yeah.
I
And
must
there's
know a
no
lot of
ghosts in
Chinese
it.
people.
China ruined Hollywood, classic Hollywood.
But yeah,
They-
no, I don't know if this is sorry to get sidetracked here, but do you know they can't have movies with ghosts in them in Chinese movies? It's illegal for movies that depict ghosts.
Come on,
Why?
man.
I'm not
It's
really sure. I'm
scary.
gonna have to look more into
Is
that,
it
but
like a
that was one of the
communist thing? Like we
reasons.
don't believe in
I think
religion
it is
or
more to do with
spirituality?
no, they do. Well, they do kind of lean into like traditional like Chinese like rituals and stuff. But I
Yeah.
think it's because like a ghost implies it's like your ancestors and you're supposed to honor your
Mhm.
ancestors. So it's if like your ancestors are bad, it's like it's not cool. It's like Confucianism, whatever. I
But
don't that's
mechas are fair
we
game.
should look into this further. I just remember that because when they made that dog shit female Ghostbusters movie, they were like, okay, well, it's China's out because they can't have movies with ghosts in it.
Oh, I think you say with women in it. I was like, based.
Yeah. I mean, that's the next step.
No
Maybe the
blacks, no
glorious
women, no
Chinese Communist
ghosts.
Party can maybe make that kind of change and we can get us the
Especially no
history
women
homos over there.
Ghostbusters.
Okay, but I did have a point to make, which is now, for those of you who haven't seen the film, we are going to spoil it. However, if even though you haven't seen this film, you know this film. It's been referenced in every single piece of media you've watched
Yeah.
your entire life.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that, by the way. But I just wanted to say is that I pulled a couple. I was talking to my wife on the train ride home tonight, and I pulled a couple of the more obscure ones, such as the the line about the dude abiding in the Coen
Mhm.
brothers, which is the little
Mhm.
children abide. And she was like, I don't know, that's kind of a stretch. And I'm like, no. They've confirmed that that's what it was a reference to. And further, the or she had commented though that like okay, well, that makes sense, people movies reference other movies. And I said, well, the interesting thing about this is that this movie bombed and had dog shit reviews,
Mhm.
and yet it's a beloved film of all of our most visionary filmmakers of the late 20th century, essentially.
Yeah, the kind of posh buzz on the internet about this movie, what I notice is it's always like advertised as like, the film you've never seen that all your favorite directors love,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. And yeah, you're right. And I wanna touch on the whole bombing aspect of it. I have a theory here. I think this came out in 1955, right?
Yep.
This is
Correct.
the heart of like I would argue like boomer optimism kind of shit in the culture.
Definitely.
That's fair to say. And I always think that we look back on this time prior to probably 1959 at least in our current culture, we look back on it as almost like this pure kind of novel, Leave It to Beaver, and maybe I'm wrong here, but I feel like most people that don't pay attention to like or dig into this kind of stuff, they just see like the 50s as like this time of like
Idyllic.
idyllic optimism and like
Yeah.
family values and blah blah blah. And we forget sometimes, or like at best, you think of like musicals that have stood the test of time and like Disney
West Side
family
Story.
classics or The Wizard of Oz or whatever. But like film has always been wicked dark, and this is like
Sure.
one of those. Um, but I think I would argue that the poor reception to it was because it kind of contrasted that attitude at the time. Like people were like coming out of sort of coming out of the Depression / World War II. They were ready to just like chill for a while and like you really hone in on those things
And
that we had,
vibe,
those roast
as
tinted
the kids
glasses
say.
stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I could be wrong. It's just a theory, but it's
For
also
real.
a product of like poor marketing and
I was
apparently
gonna say,
the lack of success of this film, which is brilliant, objectively so. Charles Lawton was like heartbroken, and I don't think he ever directed a film.
yeah.
ever.
Right. Well, I was gonna say, there is not a theory so much, but it's like a common take amongst like the mainstream commentators is that same year, the same studio had another movie coming out by Robert Mitchum with Robert Mitchum starring, and they were like, yeah, put all the advertising budget into that. We don't fucking care for this movie that much. Like the studio was like
Yeah.
that.
Put
And
Robert
that movie, do
Mitchum
you
on
remember?
another horse, please.
yes, please make him the
Yeah.
hero again.
Yeah,
Like,
he's always the hero. His two most famous films are this and Max Cady and Cape
yeah,
Fear.
the original Cape Fear. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
Good stuff.
Great
Um,
films. Well, good double
but-
feature.
Yeah. Also, interestingly, in the Cape Fear episode of The Simpsons,
Mhm.
it actually depicts Sideshow Bob as having love and hate tattooed on his hands, and of course, in the film he embodies the who is it in the remake? Whatever, but it's a remake. It's
De Niro.
another De Niro, of course. He's playing the De Niro character in the remake of the remake.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a spiritual successor in a way, Cape Fear, to Night of the Hunter.
Yeah.
I think
in a
that's
way.
true. Yeah.
It's like Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
That's fair.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who wants to take a shortcut through the cactus field is what I just thought of. From that Simpsons episode.
Yeah. The great. I mean, that's a pretty good episode. I think that episode is good, but it like suffers from the fact that it's just a fucking remake of
Reference-y.
Cape Fear. Yeah. It's like almost like it's low key a fucking Family Guy episode.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's a few Simpsons episodes like that, which
True.
you
Yeah.
can
I mean,
hold.
all of the or a good portion of the night Treehouse of Horror episodes are just
The spectrum
that.
of obscurity referenced in The Simpsons is a wide spectrum, I would say.
True. That is true. Yeah. But anyway, so I just wanted to say though that is one of the references, like probably one of my earlier exposures to the hate love hand film reference is probably that episode of The Simpsons. I mean, honestly,
Yeah, and this movie started that, right? That's what I gathered from
it
this.
is. Yeah, it is the origin of that.
and,
Yeah.
Sorry, just to be specific, love tattooed on the knuckles or the the fingers on one hand, and then hate
On the right hand, and the left hand says hate. Yeah.
In Do the Right Thing, there's a whole. They basically do this whole monologue.
Oh yeah, he just rips it off straight
Yeah.
up, Tarantino style.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, dude. Yeah.
Mookie.
Oh my
Mookie.
god.
Do,
watching-
do the right thing.
I've been watching stuff like
That's it.
real quick side note. I watched like Badlands recently, which is a great
Who's that?
Terrence Malick film.
I haven't seen that one.
Oh god, it's so good. But you watch and I'm like, oh yeah, yet another. Add one to a list of like
Things
shit
Tarantino stole.
ripped
Yeah.
off. Like it's basically true romance in so many, which he wrote, he didn't direct it, but still. Anyway, that's beside the point. The thing I think of is love and hate is the Eddie the motorcyclist in Rocky Horror Picture Show. That was
Oh, he had it too. That's right. I forgot. Yeah. But further, of course, the last Biker of the Apocalypse from Raising Arizona, which also in that same film, Nicolas Cage also, as he's looking out the window, he says, this world is hard on little things, which is again a reference to the direct line reference from this film.
I feel like a lot of the hymns in Coen Brothers movies, like "Oh Brother, We're Out There," are direct hymns from sung in this or something very. It's a very much an homage.
I would say that movie is like a spiritual successor and almost to this, like in a lot of
Right.
ways. Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou was like almost like an extended reference to this movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen that in years, but now I need to go back and watch it.
That's one of my favorites.
It's a goodie.
Yeah, it's
Not
good.
one of my favorites, but I like all of I celebrate their entire catalog.
Miller's Crossing is up
Miller's
there.
Crossing is great.
I
Well, I was
love
gonna say
Miller.
another thing is True Grit. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that actually does borrow a song.
Yeah, that's what
from,
I'm thinking of.
yeah.
But still, the influence with Oh Brother Where Art Thou is definitely like
Yeah,
the
clearly,
point is
the
the
trip
Coen
down the
brothers have
river.
seen this film.
Yes, very much so. Yeah. Okay, so we'll get into the plot and then we'll get into the analysis and all that stuff. But I just wanted to make sure you guys understood like what the cultural impact of this film is. Because again, I didn't see it till this Monday. And I was like intimately familiar with like a number of sequences, set pieces that occurred during the film, due to the fact that they're just referenced in so many things. And yeah, that's just like any kind of piece of media that has that kind of like footprint on other media clearly is worth examining, I guess I would say.
Agreed. It's also a pretty good movie.
I enjoyed it as well.
Yeah.
I'd say.
And yeah, I do want to
Um,
point that out to Patrick's point. I'm like, yes, I mean, this is a mandatory movie, I think, for a fan of film, but it's not mandatory in that it's a chore. Like I could watch, like this
Like
is
Citizen
a
Kane.
entertainingly scary movie that's definitely worth at least a yearly watch, in my opinion. But,
Yeah, Citizen Kane is a movie that I do think is like an iconic and important film in film history, and it's also groundbreaking, but I don't really want to see it ever again.
yeah, there's a lot of Orson Welles like that, but
Yeah. There's some good
I'll wa-
ones too.
the
I'll
third
watch
man,
for
I don't need to.
the
Yeah,
hotel
Third
scene.
Man's great. Third Man
He
is
smashes
is a rewatcher.
That's
you
very
think so?
good.
Okay,
I do, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
he's barely in it.
that's true.
It's arguably a what's the other guy's name? I can't remember the other actor's name, but whatever. Um okay, but anyway, so let's talk about Night of the Hunter. Night of the Hunter, it focuses on it's sort of a riff on a true story about a real life multiple homicide story. I don't want to use the word serial killer because it's loaded, especially in the context of the History Homos podcast.
Who loaded it?
The
What?
CIA.
Oh, no. Right.
Classic.
And
Those
yeah, but I don't
rascals.
think this is one of those. I think this is like I don't necessarily think this is one of those. The real story I think is like one of these like if you remember that Devil in the White City episode we did where that guy who was like a con artist who killed people to cover up his crimes kind of thing. This is another one of those. Um and yeah, so this guy named Max Power, perhaps no, Harry Powers, was a Dutch guy, immigrants in the United States, who apparently early on in his time in America was arrested for doing armed robberies and in Wisconsin, and then left and changed his name to what he went by, Harry Powers, and married a widow, if I'm not mistaken, and then started a series of correspondences which he met up with other widows who he thought were rich, and then he would kill them and take their money.
Is that not just a tale as old as time, though? Like I feel
I
like that's
agree.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And
It's hack.
the reverse of that too. I think of the woman that does the same kind of thing.
Yeah, femme fatale. Yeah,
Jim Fatale's, like
or Black Widow, if
Adam's
you will.
Family Values, Joan Cusack. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. That's true. That's actually a good movie.
It is. That is one of the great sequels.
Yeah. But yeah, so again, Tale of Skulls at Time. I think the reason why this became so notable was that like he ended up like it was like a House of Horror scenario where he like his death den was found and there was other bodies of the people he killed to cover it up, and it was gruesome, and it was a place that like it was like shocking that this had ever happened, that of course of immigrant did this, like
Build the wall.
and
The
it's
Dutch.
true that he was almost lynched but wasn't lynched. So it is true to the story that is depicted in the film.
And
And
was
in
it
the
was,
newspaper, sorry, go ahead.
was it an Anglo
It was Dutch.
Oh,
A
Dutch.
Dutchman.
That's about as Anglo. No, not
It's
really.
similar. I would say it's ethnically
It's white.
similar to an Anglo. Yeah, it's an Anglo. It's a Saxon, some kind of Saxon.
Yeah. Right.
You can look at his mugshot and see for yourself, figure whatever the hell he is. But yeah, he went by a number of names, such as now, what was his Scott, do you want to take a crack at his
His
given
real
name?
name,
Yeah.
Harm I would say is his name.
Harm Drenth.
That's
His
a
real
good,
name was
like,
Harm Harm is a hilarious
that's a
name
great
for a
violent.
guy who murders people.
Sounds like a Sith Lord.
Yeah, like Glup Shido, dude. I can't get over that they really named the character Glup Shido in Star Wars.
I must, which episode was that?
I
Two,
don't it's
three?
after I was a part of it, but I just saw like, the wikipedia.org fucking page about it or something.
Not my Star Wars.
Yeah.
But yeah, he went by John Schroeder, Joseph Gildow, Cornelius, Orvin Pearson, and A.R. Weaver. All
Weaver,
very,
interesting
yeah,
interesting double entendre there with the spider motif that they sort
yeah,
of go
yeah.
with in this film.
A real Svengali, this guy.
But yeah, so he killed a bunch of
Don't
people, and
remember.
they tried to lynch him, but they ended up hanging him by the neck till he was dead, as you do with multiple murders at that time. And the other thing was that in the newspaper they referred to him as Bluebeard, which of course it refers to the story from is it called 10,000 Arabian Nights is the name of the collection of stories.
Uh, that is the name of a collection of stories.
Yeah,
I don't.
that it's from that. So Bluebeard is one of the 10,000 Arabian Nights stories. And
Okay.
it's a story about a rich sultan named Bluebeard who gets a series of wives and kills all of them. And the story follows the most recent wife, and I'm not going to go through it, but basically she finds the bodies of his ex-wives and she kills her.
There's a sleeper gem from 1972 called Bluebeard with Richard Burton that is highly recommended. That's that, but post World War II, if that makes sense.
Oh, interesting. A nice
That's
little
very good.
adaptation.
Very gruesome murders of his beautiful wives. Arguably some gay undertones in the killer. But anyway,
Yeah, I mean
that's your
this.
bag.
I mean this movie too.
So I guess Bluebeard is almost like an archetypical thing that's manifested in real true crimes.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it was like at the bottom of this wiki page it says there's a list of other serial killers nicknamed Bluebeard.
Yeah.
So I think it was not uncommon to maybe call a wife killer or a series of wife killers that. But anyway, I just wanted to get that out of the way. So it is based off of a true story. Although this guy did not pretense at being a preacher like the Robert Mitchum, Robert Powell character. Is it Robert Powell? Yes.
I thought it was Harry. Powell.
Harry Powell. Harry Powell. It's even closer to the real guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so again, Bobby, you referenced it earlier, but the director is Charles Lawton or Lofton. I don't know how it's preferred to be pronounced. We could ask William, probably. He's from the same area as him.
Hmm.
I think it's Lawton.
Yeah, I think it's Lawton as well. But what's it called? And he's probably best known as a actor, actually. And Bobby, you also mentioned this, is that he was distraught after this film bombed and received bad reviews, and he never directed again. But he's probably best known for, if to me, the only film that I'm aware that I've seen of his is he is a co-stars as Gracchus in the Stanley Kubrick Spartacus.
He is what's his name? Oh God. He is what Bela Lugosi is to Dracula. This guy is to the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Because I was
Highly
going to say
recommend.
that a lot of people bring up his depiction of the Hunchback of Notre Dame, which I've not seen actually. I think I have seen the silent version, the earlier version before that, but I've not seen this one, and I have heard that it is good.
It's good.
Now I'm confusing this one with the silent. I don't know which one I've seen.
It was. I don't think.
The Lawton one I do recommend. I saw that like 10 years ago, right around the time I saw this for the first time.
Yeah.
Um, but and then
Oh, he
I
was in Hobson's Choice. That's interesting. He's the star of Hobson's Choice. William's got to see this movie. He was really into this Hobson's Choice movie. It's about where they're from. Both of them are I think they're from but regardless, they're like a very English film about like English religions and stuff. It's pretty interesting. But yeah, anyway, I just wanted to get that little background. But another piece of detail here is that apparently he was gay.
Mhm.
apparently
Apparently he
He
was
was
at least
bisexual.
I don't buy that. You're
That
like
just means gay. In 1955, that just means
yes,
gay.
yes,
And in
yeah.
2025, that just means gay.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Some things change. The more things change, the more they stay the same, as they say. Um, but yeah, no. So clearly that made its way into the fucking film. I mean, clearly the repression slash religious use of religion in the self suppression
Mhm.
is so
Yeah.
clearly that playing out on the screen.
See, you say
Mhm.
clearly, and I'd like, I didn't really I didn't put that together. Can you elaborate a little more?
Of course. Well, the character portrayed by Robert Mitchum, Harry Powell,
Oh,
is a
yeah.
yeah, is a self-professed preacher, but he's actually a serial killer, and he is clearly obsessed with the chastity and no lack of chastity in
Yes.
women.
Yes.
And to the point where he brings himself to burlesque shows and just clenches his fist like the Arthur meme. Like, you know what I mean? You know that meme where Arthur's clenching
Yeah,
his
of course.
fist? Yeah.
Oh man, that's
Yeah.
exactly it. Yes,
Yes.
with the love and hate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
pan
interesting.
across.
Because on the surface, it's like, oh no, is he playing the role of this like, uh, you know, Pat Buchanan preacher that hates
Right.
the sight of pornography, but really it's just he's a repressed gay man.
Yeah. Or I actually, I'll, maybe that's the case. Or I would say, maybe Lawton is perhaps just using this repressed murderer,
Yeah,
you know what I mean, in order to express like his own feelings of
sure.
self-loathing of being gay or whatever.
Right,
Because like,
right.
yeah, there's that shot where like, again, he's clenching his fist and he jams his hand in his pocket and like out of his pants area comes the knife blade.
Mm.
And it's clearly like, it's phallic, obviously. A knife
Everything's
is always
phallic when you
phallic.
talk, Scott.
True. I do think I will say this is that I do think there's a genuinely intentional Freudian encoding to certain aspects of this. Now, I say this particularly because 1955 Freud was everywhere. It was the like pop psychology. I mean, obviously, it's pop. It's
Still
the
is.
first ever pop psychology, and it was new had recently hit the scene essentially and gone worldwide, especially in the wake of World War II and like the new like media Anglo-American media order like that was going on at the time. Um, and also not just that, but I mean you have literally have his nephew what's his name, Bernays, is like working with the CIA and like
Mhm.
figuring out how to get Americans to eat breakfast and shit. Like
I do love bacon and eggs. Thanks for that, Edward
thanks
Burnett.
bro.
Yeah, and then
No
what
problem.
comes to mind, one of the scenes that really stuck out to me, not because I can necessarily relate to it, but sometimes I'm tired, when he was like shaming his new wife for,
Yeah, wanting
we
to
only
consummate the marriage.
we only consummate the marriage if we're trying to have kids, and we're not trying to have kids, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like,
But again, but also interestingly, I noticed in that scene though, he had his left hand reached up on his shoulder, like just sort of displaying it prominently. Obviously that's the hate hand. So we should talk about that.
that's the gay side. That's, oh no, you're pierced on the right side if you're gay. Never mind.
Yeah.
I'm trying
Right
to
is
find more gay
wrong.
shit in this movie now that you mention it.
Check the fucking the opening credits.
Why is there like glitter or something? Oh, the okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, so let's do the plot. Let's do the plot from the beginning. So yeah, we got Harry Powell is a self-professed preacher, obviously Protestant. Another thing is I want to say is that this film accurately depicts the horrors of Protestantism.
Yeah. Yeah.
Certainly.
I'm
Oh
going
yeah.
Pentecostal if I had to pick one.
Yeah,
But
definitely a tent revival, whatever that
tent
kind
revival
of.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Charismatic, schmarismatic, whatever you like. Yeah. It's whoever
Proto.
literally rolls through town is who throws the weekly, you know,
Yeah, it's
I
like
wonder
kind
hoedown.
of
if
a traveling man.
yeah, I wonder if what's his name? Blood Meridian there. Cormac McCarthy was like
I mean,
thinking about
oh,
this movie when he
absolutely.
made that character at the beginning of Blood Meridian there.
Do you see that one-off literal three
Or
second shot of him dressed
In
like
the
a bunch
tent.
of no, dressed like a peach picker. Yeah, not a slur of any sort. Like he was in overalls
Yet.
and yeah. Uh
Bunch of peach pickers moved into my
come
town,
on,
ruined the
man.
property value.
All the peaches gone. Now what do we do? Um but yeah, he's just haranguing about wayward children with scripture and so
I
on.
do remember that, yeah.
Yeah, and when I saw that, I was like, oh yeah,
He's a hobo.
there's another point to the judge again, uh, and also, yeah, he's a hobo. That too. That's his true
ugh.
form in those 3 seconds. Um, so
Well, I think that's you bring up a good point, which is the fact
sings
that
a song.
this movie has so many like really abrupt but concise scenes, which are
Yeah,
just one shot, static. You get what's going on, the plot moves forward, boom, you move on to the next scene. And you get the whole thing. No, you're never like, what the fuck just happened? It's never.
There's some. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say this isn't a movie where your wife says, "Who's he?"
Yeah, no, it's very, very cut and it's a very simple. It's like a. There's nothing to it, but there's a lot to it. But as far as
Yeah,
following it and comprehending it, like that's another good reason to recommend this to folks that are looking for good black and white films to start with, is because like there's nothing. It's nothing overly convoluted or hard to follow or
yeah,
anything like that. But you mentioned how it just explains something and then it just cuts to the next scene. It doesn't just do that necessarily like for the like they do these almost like wonderfully Mr. Show-esque transitions sometimes.
yeah,
Maybe not to
yes,
that degree, but like there's the scene where it's like what you need is a new man in the house, and then it's just like boom, like ominous music and like the train rolling in
yeah.
with Robert
That's
Mitchum
great.
on,
Yeah,
you know. I love
yeah.
that
That's
shit.
that's any sort of like way like that's just the thing. It's like real concise. It's almost like it's not word economy, but word economy, like minute economy in a film. I guess it would be like
I think that the since this was his directorial debut, I'd venture to say that maybe that he was just I don't want to say it's paint by numbers, but he wasn't trying to do anything crazy, sophisticated, or artsy. But the way in which it's shot and the way Robert Mitchum's performance is executed makes it this memorable thing. Like it's a pretty as far as the direction. I don't know. I'm just kind of
it's
thinking
a
about
little artsy though because
it is.
there's just like there's enough like just symbolic enough stuff. But here's the thing, you're onto something though with that. Definitely, I'm not gonna.
I don't
I
think
gotta
Charles Lawton was going ta-da like after every thing. Like he wasn't like, see
definitely,
how fucking smart and sophisticated and artistic
yeah.
I am.
I think what he was doing was let's see if we can make a really straightforward story artistic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a really like a plot that anyone can grab. You can describe it in a sentence. Serial killer finds out that little kids are hiding money. He marries their mom, and kills her, and then pursues them to the hell and back in order to get the money.
Yeah. Well
That's the
executed
plot.
simple stories are the best. That's all I want. I don't need
What
Philip Seymour Hoffman and what is that movie? Sindoche, New
Fucking
York.
idiot!
Yeah,
Fucking
like that kind of shit.
idiot!
I'm not 25 anymore trying to fucking find the deeper meaning. I just want like tell me a story so I can go to bed by 9:30, you know.
Yeah, tight
amen.
90 by the way. This
Tight
film,
90.
love
The
a
original
tight
script was
90.
like 250 pages though,
Which
apparently.
is, if you know anything about scripts, is like that's fucking insane. Like a
Yeah.
script is supposed to be 90 pages
So
essentially. Like,
it's a minute a page, ideally.
yeah,
And I mean, this is pretty dialogue heavy. It's not, I mean, but there's a lot of, I wouldn't even call it padding, but there's a lot of visual stuff that is dialogue's not going on to its credit. So show don't
Yeah,
tell.
for sure. Okay, so the beginning of the film, again, we are introduced to this serial killer, and he's on the move again after killing, by his count, the 25th woman, or something, or 24th woman. Um, and he again, this is so he talks to God directly, which implies that his like what's the word I'm looking for here? His like pretensions towards being a pious man aren't pretensions. They're what he genuinely believes he's communicating with divinity. So therefore, he is genuinely justified in doing whatever he wants. And or perhaps even he's being told to do it because I think he says, "You've had me killed. You don't mind the killings," or something like that. Or I guess
Yeah.
there's some sort of equilibrium between him and God in his reckoning. Oh, the film also does start with a quote though from the Sermon on the Mount, if I'm not mistaken. You shall know him by his fruits. The false shepherds, isn't that the Sermon on the Mount?
Yes. Yes, it is.
It is, yeah, and that's actually spoken as voiceover by Charles Lawton, if I'm not mistaken. He actually did the voiceover of the narrator saying that.
Um, the I believe it. He also had the entire staff on set whenever they were shooting just about anything, from the composer to the editor to the script writer, and that was James Agee and the actual author, Davis Grubb. He
Yep,
was, the guy that, actually
made
makes
it
this.
into a book. Yeah,
He uh, he actually provided sketches for Lawton to go off of, on top of what he had in mind, and him being a theater guy, it's kind of, you know, I think it makes this really a special little neat thing. Yeah, but go
yeah.
ahead. Sorry.
Theater is very collaborative, so it doesn't really surprise me that he had everybody on
Mm.
set being like, "Okay, guys, what do you think about this? Should we do this?" Like, kind of thing.
I think it's
Um,
shot quick too. Month, 30 some days, I think.
that's
I
kind of
saw
long for a
somewhere.
movie, actually. Usually,
I
it's
don't know
like most
nothing.
movies get principal photography is done in like 14 days.
Oh
Yeah, maybe
shit.
the artsy genius of this is more a product of him having a theatrical directing background too, right? Like you said,
Definitely.
they definitely lean into, that it's not shot on location. These are sets. Like it's almost like a storybook, the way you would see
Yeah.
things play out on a stage, right?
Exactly.
Well, good pull because I was just gonna say that when he received the novel, when he was deciding what film to make, I got this from Wikipedia, by the way. He read somebody handed him this book and he was like, "Oh, this is great! Like this is like a dark Mother Hubbard kind of story." And so he wanted the film, and I think this is very well achieved, by the way, is it's has like sort of like almost David Lynch-esque dream logic at times.
Mm.
And it has like definitely like a dreamlike disposition. And another thing is that like a lot of set, a lot of sets and like things that are supposedly the same location like change in a lot of ways, and like shots will change in order to get certain lighting effects inside the same set. And it has this sort of the Shining effect where like remember like all the different continuity errors that are like just makes you feel like it's gaslighting you kind of same kind of effect in this movie. Like particularly I'm thinking of the scene where John and Pearl are like sitting and talking in bed, and there's that gorgeous light display where the kid is silhouetted in the middle of the cross. um
Mhm.
and then they're like, oh, and then and then all of a sudden Powell shows up and his silhouette eclipses both of them. You know
Dude,
what I
there's like
mean?
five floating children's heads in space at the beginning of this movie,
Yes.
as if we're telling some sort of like abstract cosmic fairy tale
Yeah.
for American
David Lynch actually borrowed that same effect for Dune, the beginning of Dune, the Alan Smithy cut,
Yeah, he doesn't
with
like that.
the narrating
Yeah,
version. But
interesting.
what I was gonna say is, but yeah, my point though is that scene though, the next shot after they do that reveal, they show a front shot of John, and but if you go with the continuity of the film, that would mean that the camera would be showing the window. It would have to be because of the way the light works, and yet there's a wall behind him. So it does that sort of dream logic, gaslighting you, what is spatial reality thing that you feel like you're, and the point is, I think the point is that the effect you're getting is that you're like a child. You're perceiving this series of events as the way a child would, and you have like all of the childlike anxieties, fears, and it's very like all of the motivations throughout it are like the motivations of a child as well. And I think that's like just a really it puts you in the exact place mentally to be ready to enjoy a thrill. You know what I mean? Because like for me, when I watch a horror movie, it takes a lot to get over the disbelief. Like of usually, especially if it's supernatural. It's a little less, it's a little easier when it's just a serial killer, like in this story. But like with anything supernatural, you got to work really hard on me to get me into it because I'm just
Yeah.
that kind of fella.
I feel like there's a few shots where they do what's called crossing the axis, but they do it on purpose. It's like kind of one of those no-no things in film because
Hmm.
it confuses the audience. And it's easier just to read the AI overview of what I'm referring to than try to explain it. So crossing the axis also comes
Will
the
do after we're done.
what's that?
I will do after we're done. Oh no, you're gonna
Yeah.
say it now. Good, great. Yes,
Yeah,
please. I
yeah,
don't know
yeah.
what you're
It
talking
also
about.
does the 180-degree rule or crossing the line is a fundamental filmmaking guideline where the camera stays on one side of the imaginary line, connecting two characters in one scene. So if you just Google it and look at the images, it's easier to conceptualize that way. But there's the scene where the kind of Mother Goose character, Rachel, right? Rachel,
Yes.
where she's kind of walking back and forth with her shotgun, protecting the kids, and they keep shooting it at different angles. I want to say that they cross the axis in that little vignette. I don't know, just that just sprung on me when you said the way in which we want to like
It's
create
disorienting. Yeah.
disorienting, dissonant effect with the way it's shot. I could be completely wrong. I think that happened though, because it was kind
Yeah.
of strange.
Another thing is like when they do go on the boat ride, it's left to right every time. It's the whole time it's left to right. And it's just like it's just a weird, it's almost like, like Mario, you can conceptualize like always going right, and it's almost like a childlike understanding of making progress. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Hmm. Hmm.
Well, they did come from upriver, and that's
True.
what they told the old lady that helped them out. I
I
forget
do.
her
They feel
name,
like they went east
Lillian
this whole
Gish.
time. Yes.
Um,
I think the beauty of it is that it's in like some sort of like eldritch twisting river that could just keeps getting longer and longer. You know what I mean? Because it's a nightmare like
Yeah.
sequence essentially.
You mentioned something earlier about you know how the kids are kind of the focal point aside like that it's escaping this actual monster
Yeah.
and like it doesn't affect me in this way because I saw it when I was much older, but are you familiar with the concept of kinder trauma?
I
Which is
mean, childhood trauma. Yeah, I'm
yeah, but
familiar.
like in the world of like growing up watching movies, my generation
Oh,
would be like Return to
like
Oz with the weird wheelers
or
or like the
it. I
headless
always people my age always go, "Oh, I saw it when I was a kid, and I can't
yeah.
stand clowns now." Yeah,
Yeah, shit like that. And one of them that's always stuck out to me is like when your parents are either dead or unable to help you or possessed by something that's not your parents. Things like that are always like when you're a child, especially, and you observe that on film, it's like extra horrifying.
definitely,
And then
definitely.
on top of that, like, okay, so the father's obviously, did the father end up dying in jail or something? I don't
No,
remember.
he was hanged in
He was
jail.
hanged. That's right. Okay. And then the mother, I don't want to spoil, but you know what I mean. The point is the parental authorities, the people you trust,
Yeah, they're
the
definitively
people you
gone.
own, the defenders that you've only known your whole life are like out of the picture now, like quite literally. And
Yeah,
now you're being stalked by this monster that again is not Frankenstein or the Wolfman or
He's got
Dracula.
a puny knife too.
It's a
by the
fucking
way.
dude with a blade. Like, yeah, exactly. But still, that's almost more scary. And then like you could see that guy out in the real world
For
more like
sure.
you could the Wolfman. So
I think that for me, when I was watching it this time, the thing that gave me the creeps the most was the fact that he would go to other adults and say, "Oh, these are my kids," and they're like, "No, no," and the other adults, because you didn't know adults believe kids ever,
yeah.
and this is something you've experienced as a kid, so watching it as an adult, go, "Oh my God, I can imagine that."
And he
Like,
even started to manipulate the little girl into calling him dad, or
yeah,
start hinting at that and turning the kids against each other. It's one of those things where it's like an admirable, like a sociopath, but like has these glimmers of unhinged psychopath from time to
hmm
time, and that contrast is just so fucking so
yeah.
creepy. Ugh.
His mask drops occasionally when he
I
freaks
wanted
out
to
and
ask
goes,
you guys this. So did he? I didn't really catch what the reaction was when they went to trial with the townspeople. Were the townspeople defending him?
"No." They wanted to
Okay.
rip him apart.
Okay. Okay. Maybe I looked at my phone during that scene or something because I was like, wait, anyway. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, we could even cover that because this is a problem, is like we've already jumped around a bunch, but
Yeah.
so
Sorry.
let's no, because I do want to, I have a whole like thing I want to say about that part,
Okay.
but I think it would help if I talked about the part where he's come and infiltrated the town first. So okay, so we meet these two kids, John and Pearl. By the way, John is, I believe this is not, this is, I believe this is referencing First John, by the way.
Uh-huh.
This part of the name. And I think in First John, there's a line about a pearl which you need to protect, of all the value of all the fields and stuff like that. If I'm not mistaken, that is the line, which it works very thematically because John's role in the film is to protect Pearl, and that's his last thing told to him by his father, who has
Uh-huh.
robbed a bank because it's in the 1930s, in the Great Depression, and he, the family has no money, et cetera, et cetera, and so he robs a bank, and in the process kills two people, and arrives. This was the first plot hole for me, by the way, is that why would you go home when you're running from the authorities? That's the first place they're gonna look, and now your family are tied to you if you were gonna try
I
to hide the
I
money.
think what it was he knew he was done for and he was caught,
I
but he was
agree.
trying to get that money over to the whole reason that he took the
It's the
money.
MacGuffin of the film.
The only
Yeah,
other
but it's a
sensible
very important.
man.
It's not an arbitrary MacGuffin though either. It's like,
Oh yeah, it's just a well crafted MacGuffin.
yeah. But yeah, real quick on First John, doesn't it have a lot of themes of like the clear duality between good and evil as well?
I haven't read it directly. I'm
Okay. I
just.
guess that's the Bible in general for the most
Oh,
part.
yeah, that's fair. Yes. But yeah, I would say that Patrick, you're the scriptural
I
scholar
wouldn't.
amongst us.
I wouldn't. I haven't.
Well, I was conferring with a colleague today, and I asked about the
Please.
part about the pearl, and he confirmed that the line referring to the pearl was that the pearl was of the value of all the fields, and it was something you had to protect. And it in the scripture, it is symbolic of your faith in God.
Word.
But yeah, so it's nothing. Definitely, there's nothing. There's nothing. What's the word? Heretical going on in this film right now for sure, because it's
Looks like
just.
it's in Matthew 13, the parable of the pearl.
Okay, so I was wrong, but
Oh, your colleague was
I
wrong.
just look it up. I
oh, he
mean,
didn't confirm that he's confirmed that there's a line
Oh,
about
okay.
the pearl that you with all
it
the.
may very well show up in other. But hey, listen, we're rolling with it because I'm sure
The Gospels are very reminiscent of each other if you've read them. So,
sure, yeah.
That's true. They're kind of all riffs on a theme.
yeah, they're like a
Um,
reinterpretation of the last guy.
yeah. What I was gonna say is anyway, regardless, the father comes back and says, "Oh, I've done this, and I'm going to hide the money." It's not revealed where it is at this point in the film, but he tells the son, and the daughter sees. It's not actually told. He's not told to her. It's not told to her, And the father says to him, you have to keep the secret as long as you live, and don't even tell your mother. She doesn't have a sense of, you have common sense, she doesn't. And he says, whatever you do, you need, by the way, it's a very red pilled, based in red pilled MRA film, by the way.
He went out based.
If we can't find the schizoid in every movie, Scott, we find the based MRA red pill.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Jeez.
What's it called? Anyway, so yeah, so he gives, and then the cops come and they take him away and they bring him to jail, and they sentence him to death by hanging the neck. And in jail, he is, his cellmate is this serial killer, Harry Powell. And while he's damn, imagine if this movie wouldn't happen if he just like didn't, if he slept in his stomach that night.
Then the movie wouldn't happen. Yeah.
I know, well, it's true. We wouldn't know about it. But yeah, so he was just quietly muttering to himself as he's sleeping. And Powell overhears that he's talking about my kids have the money or something. I don't remember the exact lines, but to the effect that there's a bunch of money I've hid. And he what is the Bible quote? He says, "Go
He said, and
trust
the
in little
little
children."
and the little children will lead or something. I think it
Yeah,
was.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. But he woke up swinging. It was pretty funny. That was
Yeah.
a very well done shot. Just sends the preacher to the floor, and also some of the best voice acting from the actor from Airplane, Peter Graves.
Yeah.
Um, because he just screams in Robert Mitchum's face, what, like 4 times as loud as possible. It's a there's some it's a startling movie at times.
Yeah, my favorite, probably my favorite, but the most like emotionally or the most satisfying moment in the entire film is when Mitchum just barely, they just barely escape from him on the boat, and he goes,
Oh yeah. It's a memorable scream because again, it goes back to what I was saying earlier about like
I make that noise
At
by the way.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
I
Yes,
think that's
at
when I
Yu-Gi-Oh.
realized that, he is this composed, methodical sociopath that has these moments of unhinged psycho.
Yeah.
In that, like, he's almost trying to repress the scream. It's almost like a weird hum, and then
Yeah.
it just evolves into this.
It just
reach.
comes out of him. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. I know that feel, bro.
Yes, it's called every day, Monday through Friday.
Mine is when I drop a tool, by the way. It's not it's not when children
Yeah,
have
that's a
escaped
good.
my
That's a good,
grasp.
like if you drop a wrench on your toe, like it's just
Yeah.
like you're trying to hold it back and be a man about it, but then it's just like it's gonna feel better if I just.
If I just yell, yeah. Not even, by the way, I'm talking about when I just drop a tool and I have to bend over and pick it up.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
You don't even have to like inflict physical pain. When I have to tie my shoes. It's like fuck.
Yeah. We can get that as a drop, by the way.
Yeah, totally. I saw that.
But also the best part is that it goes straight into the score at that point, where it's like a big stab of dramatic music at that moment, exact moment as well. It rocks.
And it leads into another fantastic bit of the score where Pearl is singing that song
Oh, to fly, yeah.
about yeah. There's so many great sound pieces in
Music set pieces.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a good
beautiful.
example. I think for movies like this, especially when you want this overt, obvious, profound expression of evil and darkness and like daunting dread, you have to contrast it with the opposite of that from the other
A
side.
little tenderness.
Yeah,
Gotta
and
have
I
a little
think
tenderness.
that scene on the boat where she's singing is like of what I think of when I think of that side of this film.
It's a reprieve almost from the like the tension too. I remember you ever see the movie Happiness?
Of course.
Yeah, I remember at the beginning of the film you meet like the fucking what's his name character, fucking idiot, what's his name?
John Lovitz.
Oh, him too. I meant the second
He's
guy.
great.
Philip
What's the guy who
Seymour
died of heroin?
Hoffman.
Philip Seymour
Super Hoffman.
Hoffman.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're like, oh God, this is so dark when you see this guy's character. And then you meet the doctor dad, and you're like, oh, bring me back to fucking Philip Seymour Hoffman, man. And it's like a reprieve to see his
Yeah, yeah.
antics,
So many friends that have sorted, like movie nerd friends that have sorted through my DVD collection. They're just like, even they're like, why the fuck do you own Happiness?
I don't own. I mean, I own a
I don't know. I
MP4
heard
of
good things
Happiness.
if I blind bought it more or less. But anyway, it's a good movie.
It is a good film, but I don't think I would own a
Not,
physical media of it.
yeah. It's like I
I've
was skeptical of people that own the movie Kids. I'm like, why do you why
Yeah, well, that
watch
one's
this
that
multiple
one's yeah.
times?
Or Bully, that one's a little
Yeah,
out
yeah.
there
Anything.
too.
What's
Yeah,
that fucking guy?
Larry Clark, that pedophile. Yeah.
Yeah, or Gummo, shit like that.
Okay, well let's not get on that whole sidetrack, but
Larry Clark episode.
no, I'm good. But yeah, so he comes, so he finds out basically that he figures out that he's like, oh, I'll just go to that guy's house and ask his kids about it, basically. And that's when that scene where I was talking about, where he looms large, quite literally, in their path. Yeah, so he decides that he's gonna try to move in. He even says to God, his God, which is the devil, that thank you for doing this for me again. There's a large sum of money and a potential a soon to be widow. So it's his literal modus operandi presented to him like this gigantic stack of money, which Bobby, you were saying before did you do the math for
I'm literally typing it up right now. Hold on. 1939, let's say. It's like depression.
Yeah, so it was $10,000 when the film it was in the film. So they're not 39's pretty good.
$230,000 or yeah, $230,000. That's a lot of scratch.
Not the righteous bucks.
Couple bucks. Oh yeah, man. But not worth harassing some children over. Yeah.
Well, if you've already done 24 women, you might as well get one more.
There's always
Make a nice
tomorrow,
round
Scott.
number.
No, you can always turn it
That's
around.
that's a decent 1,200 square foot house in the suburbs these days.
Yeah, 25. Oh yeah, 200. Yeah, sure. It's righteous bucks.
Which suburbs?
Yeah, right. Well, I was trying to be
Which
generous.
state?
Yeah, I was gonna say I
It's
live
nice
in a crummy neighborhood.
on a it's a nice down payment on a 1,200 square foot house in the suburbs.
Yeah. It's nice down payment on a trailer. But yeah, no, what I was gonna say is yeah, so he shows up in town, and of course
The father is executed. Let's not just gloss over the father is killed by the state.
yes,
All right.
he was a murderer, for the record.
He slipped.
He did slip. He
He
stumbled.
It was a setup.
Oh, like it was
It's like
Reservoir
Reservoir
Dogs.
Dogs. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
he was going like this: bang, 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 bang. Yeah, bang, 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 bang.
I just don't believe in tipping waitresses.
You see
Yeah.
this? This is the world's smallest tattoo.
Dude, Mr. Pink is the shit.
I like
Steve
his black
Buscemi
jeans.
bringing it back to the Coen brothers, which was influenced by Night of the Hunter.
There
Scott,
you go.
take it away.
What I was gonna say is, so yeah, he shows up. I know this is where the new dynamic of the town is sort of introduced to the film, where like everyone's like up the mother's ass to be like, well, you gotta get a new kid, you got a new husband, and you can't just be living in sin like this with these children. And you meet her boss. I know it's not living in sin, I understand, but the way they act, it may as well be.
That woman, yeah.
Oh,
This poor. Can we just?
Yeah, she has a point.
I mean, she has a point in the fact that they gotta eat, but like Shelley Winters is selling it as the most tired woman in like all of America, in this movie.
yeah.
She looks very tired. She might need a man.
I guess, but I just be a little more choosy about it, guys. Come on,
not the guy in the
the
ominous
literal
train.
first guy who shows up.
Yeah, on
This
an
woman-
ominous train.
I know this one from Mary Poppins, I believe. Anyway,
Shelley Winters
bang,
in Mary
bang.
Poppins.
Yeah, I believe so. She's like one
I
of the
didn't
old
know that.
maids at the beginning. I don't
Damn,
know.
time
All
flies.
old character actresses look the same to me after. So
But
anyway,
that's for shit sure.
I'll
Um,
look it up and get back to you guys if
I
it's
was
right.
just gonna say though, is that Patrick, I will push back on this ominous train thing because in a way, what train isn't ominous?
Um, Thomas the Tank Engine.
Ah, you
I'll give you
got
that.
me. Damn.
Yeah.
1 second, your first answer put bested me. Well, when I'm beat,
Listen,
I'm beat.
what can I say, man? I know. I didn't even know
That's
I knew trains that well.
the train in the song by Quad City DJs. Come on, ride that train. That's
Oh,
more of a
yeah, it's
fun train.
It's a good one. Soul
running up.
Train.
It's a banger. Yeah, Soul Train's not
Yeah.
ominous.
That's true. Okay, fine. The one that's outside Walmart, also fairly friendly.
Yeah. I
The one
mean
that's out
that
for
could go
locals,
dark.
the one that's outside Caldor was pretty nice too, by the way.
Oh. What did that take? 75 cents? Mr. Big Time, Big Shot.
Caldor, that's fucking big time. You're probably swimming
They were a
around your
quarter
daddy's
where I'm
bowls
from,
when Caldor's doors were last open.
buddy.
Is
Yeah,
this
no,
an
I
East
never
Coast
heard
thing?
of
I have
it.
no idea what that is.
It's
Yeah,
a
no.
northeastern only, probably Massachusetts only, honestly, local department store that no longer exists, and now there's a Walmart there.
You guys have
Bobby,
Job Lot though. You ever go
hell
to
We have
yeah,
Ocean?
Ocean
brother.
State Job Lot, which is
Fuck
Ocean State
yeah.
being Rhode Island.
It's like rejected Chinese warehouse.
Yep, we got it, baby.
It's
Fuck
good
yeah, I love a
stuff.
Job Lot.
But anyway, yeah. So the
By the way, I
locals
was
right
wrong.
now
She's
are.
not in Mary Poppins. I was totally making that up.
It's okay. It's okay. She looks like she would be in Mary Poppins.
Exactly.
Um, but yeah, so there's this new dynamic that's presented to us where like everybody's a busybody, everybody's up in each other's business. And this is like I think is genuinely or not genuinely, but I would say is like objectively shown as like a negative situation, essentially that aspect of it, which I think leads to the like Gerardian interpretation is that everyone's up in each other's business
Bro, it's called
and
Community, and we need to get back to that, Scott.
not when you're forcing a woman to marry a serial killer for your own satisfaction of moral bullshit. Which, by the way, I was again. This we said before that this movie is about the horrors of Protestantism. This is I can like actually
Yeah.
underpin this theologically speaking. At the time, the type of religion that these guys are ascribed to incorporates theological aspects known as the social gospel,
Mm-hmm.
which is like the idea that more so than having like a fealty or faith and practice in sacramental rites such as the Eucharist, it's more like about like, oh, what kind of fucking sacrifices have you made for your community, and or like what kind of performative bullshit can you do, such as I don't ever drink.
Isn't that kind of like a Calvinist thing too, with the
Big
emphasis
time.
on work and like work is the only way to God and stuff like that?
Hugely
Is it
so,
kind of
bro.
adjacent to
Hugely.
that? Yeah.
Absolutely.
You
Yeah, that's
left
exactly where it
church
comes
in
from.
kind of a hurry. What's going on?
That's exactly it. Yeah. And so that's the embodied in this character, Icy Spoon, which is a very
Oh
funny
man.
name.
And they're poor that war-beaten husband of hers, Walt
Just
Spoon.
wants a just wants a nip of whiskey here and
Nip
again.
of peach what was that? Dandelion? No, not dandelion wine. That was elsewhere, but peach schnapps or something.
Something like that.
Good for
Yeah.
him.
And
Yeah.
she just like
He took a
slaps it
rip.
out of her hand.
It's just
She
one.
tried. But yeah, they epitomize this horrible, social nexus where everyone's in each other's business and
But to the level that like it is the undoing of the main characters. Like it literally is like this impetus towards being like expressing your faith in religion, faith in God through performative moral like gestures
Yeah.
is like that is the undoing of this poor woman. I don't remember her character's name, but the Michelle Winters character, leaving her ironically in some sort of like almost pagan sacrificial
Yeah.
like icon like faith
water burial.
So
anima
it's like
type thing. Yeah.
everyone knows that charity is when you do a good deed while other people are watching.
Obviously, bro.
Whenever they're like, hey,
Yes,
like,
I
did you want to
checked.
donate to blah 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 cause and round up your chains and you can like draw your name on a star and we'll put it on the window of the seven. I'm like, I'll just give you a little money. Like, I'm not doing all that. I
Yeah.
don't have the time for that anyway. But yeah,
Yeah, no. I'll usually
Not
go I
get the
usually
charitable.
if it's a place that has tips or like a tip jar, I'll maybe put $1 in and go, "Hey, if you want to take this dollar out and buy that, that's your
yeah.
money to spend."
Help the blind kids. Yeah, yeah.
That's your money to spend, pal.
Nice.
But what's it called? Yeah, so that's basically what happens is that she ends up getting roped into this relationship with this guy. He is a smooth talker, and again, the this refers back to the opening Bible quotation where there's the false prophet. Quite literally, he is a false preacher, and also he is a secret scumbag, just guy. And you will know him by his fruits, and his fruits are death and destruction. So,
And he's probably, and I'm not saying it's the only, I mean, this plays on duality. This movie in general plays on duality a lot
yeah,
as a major theme, but visually, like he's the one dressed in black, which is like, I'm not gonna say it's hacky, it's classic. It's like it's
yeah,
not cliche. It's like, oh yeah, like clearly that's what we're going for here is like he's the dude in black, but
yeah.
for
It's a childlike view of good and evil.
yes, well said.
Particularly given that we're like seeing it all through the eyes of a child. Yeah, so basically, but the kid is like steadfast. John is steadfast in his like word to his father and also in his protection of his sister rather. Um and indeed, like I mean, like it's almost uncharacteristic of like a child character in a film to like like one out of every 10 of his lines are, "Oh, I gotta go get Pearl." And it's like that's not like a depiction you stereotypically see of a kid in a movie, particularly in this time.
Uh,
Bobby, you earlier brought up Leave It to Beaver,
mhm.
and like that is like the sort of
But
idyllic 50s kid depiction of kids, but Beaver's the lovable little scoundrel, you know what I mean?
couple of things on this though. This was yes, this came out in 1955, but it's set during the Depression.
True.
Okay. And the father is gone or hung at some point. Like, I think there is something about like that whole time to grow
You're the
up and
man of
be
the
the man of
house.
the house kind of thing. And I think
Yeah,
that was probably more celebrated and emphasized prior to Leave It to Beaver boomerism. It was like
that's
that was
true.
just, yeah. So like you need to help raise your little sister. You need to watch after her, all that kind of stuff. So I understand what you're saying. I'm not challenging it too much, but I would say like that's the angle I could see it from, though.
Well, to that end, actually, I think it's important to note that, by the way, by his father just bringing this money, by his father, like, stealing this money and then bringing it to him and giving him this massive burden and losing his life as a result, he robbed him of his childhood. He made him become an adult
Mhm.
as a little kid, you know?
Mhm. Interesting. Totally.
And that's,
Just
the whole movie is sort of about, like, the loss of innocence, as it were.
Bingo. And then never mind. I don't want to get ahead of myself here
Well, I think the loss
because
of innocence
there's
is
almost. I'm just
obviously
going to
the
say there's
Apple
more.
motif.
There's kind of a re-implementation of innocence with the protection of Mother
Yeah.
Goose.
For sure, for sure. We'll get to that, of course. But I
Yeah,
was just
I
gonna
didn't
say
want to
that
get ahead of
throughout the
myself.
film, though, we have this like very strong Apple motif. I noticed that you posted on Instagram about it, Bobby.
Well, I
Hopefully that
asked you
didn't connect
directly
to
on
you.
Instagram. I'm like, "What's with the apple?" And you're like,
Oh
"I haven't
well,
watched it yet."
I think that's we sort of just nailed it, which is like the movie in general is about a loss of innocence, and in the biblical stories,
Yeah,
the most exemplary loss of innocence is the Adamic fall.
yeah. I always associate the apple with more with like hoariness or like
But it's a
un.
kid.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, yeah, I get it. Yeah, I can see it. It works.
And for further, not just like does he lose his childhood, but he also now was just exposed to like terrible, horrible like trauma. Like we talked about, like I was just recently reread the beginning of Program to Kill, and in it,
Talk about one to reread. Talk about
well, it was
rewatching.
for the it was research. I didn't just
Okay.
read it for fun, but regardless, McGowan though talks about how like the reason why like psycho researchers who do like terrible psychological tests on people, they prefer to work on kids because like an adult, when you put him in a traumatic situation, can go into fight or flight mode
Mhm.
and perhaps fight or flight, and the child is unable to protect itself. So it's just the only way that it can flight is to fly into like another distinct personality, with which then the psycho researchers then use that to like do
Yeah,
stuff with, you
and
know?
a child is more malleable and like less. The innocence is literally like it's not tainted by life experience, and
Yeah.
it's like a clean sample, if that makes it, like, to make it kind of gross, but you know what I'm trying to say. It's
Yeah, I know.
like
I think that's a good way to put it.
an untouched subject in a way.
It's a control
Yes,
almost.
there
And
you go. There you go.
yeah. Um, but yeah, that's very dark. But I mean, but in the context of this film, of course, it's important because I mean, like, it is very much a kid going through kids in general going through like this like very traumatic thing. And by the way, also Pearl is like even at like an even more probably vulnerable age where she's like in this mirroring phase, like as a
Mhm.
child.
Let's
Gerard
take
talks
a
about
tale.
this. But yeah, but just to the extent where you were saying before, Bobby, the fact that she like goes calls him dad, is getting out hugging him even after she tried to kill at the very, I couldn't believe it when this kid walks over to him outside of Rachel's house and gives him a hug after
Yeah.
he fucking chased him into the water and went "Rah!"
That's true. I didn't. Yeah, good call
But I mean,
out.
that just speaks to, I don't think that was shitty kid acting. I think that was a direction that she was given to go do that because it's trying to indicate that she is at this real malleable point in her life where if she is taken away from, and there's another thing where we're this next part we're about to talk about, which is after, we'll talk about the murder of the mother in a second, but I just want to say after that, there's a few scenes where it's like, oh, like John, you better be with this kid like whenever you possibly can, because if you get this kid alone for 5 minutes, she might just go, "Oh, it's in my doll," like you
Mhm.
know.
Yeah, totally. Which, like, at some point they should have just hit it somewhere. That's beside the point. Like, I get it.
Yeah, then it
Like,
becomes less of a
the
MacGuffin,
doll
I think.
becomes the dumb MacGuffin after we realize that that's where the. It's like, dude, just put it somewhere else and don't
Yeah,
tell your sister where it's hid or
don't
whatever.
ever tell her. Yeah,
Yeah,
don't. Maybe she's older. I don't know. Like,
yeah. Clearly,
um,
she's not to be trusted.
but
Sounds
yeah,
bad.
John's bad. Yeah. She just
John is bad.
mirrors whatever he
Yeah.
says, you know? And this is Gerard talks about this too, which is like that's how like the origin, the reason why humans have the mimetic instinct is in order to teach the children about life, essentially, is the humans imitate people, and that's how you learn everything about the world is by
I mean,
imitating your parents.
the cliche is if you want someone to be bilingual, you teach them at a young age. Like, they're like sponges.
Yeah,
They're very
true.
uh susceptible to that stuff at that age.
For sure. But yeah, so the murder of the so we got to talk about the transformation of the mother from like the tiredest woman on earth to a stalwart defender of Satan.
Which
Like,
was abrupt, but to be fair, this is like cut down from 250-page script to like
yeah,
a 90-page script. But I feel like probably in the original script there's a little more
of a
transition.
gradual.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, an arc with that. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
I agree, but at the same time, I don't think it suffers from just abruptly doing that because I think the stark change. So we talked about the wedding night scene where she goes into bed with him, expecting a normal wedding night, and he's laying there with his hate hand on his shoulder,
In
and
his
she
Playgirl magazines.
yeah, right, yeah, the Playgirl issue which says why do parents sleep with their children?
Okay.
Well, from The Shining.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know.
um but yeah, so yeah, regardless, so he says that, and he says, as you pointed out earlier, that he's like, I'm not gonna fuck you because that's only for making children. I have a pure conception of what it is to be husband and
Yeah.
wife, you know. And well, clearly it's
This
like again,
poor
it's
spurned woman.
yeah, well,
Look
He
at
just wants
yourself.
some tea. Throw me
You
some
tell-
dick, guy.
Well, the thing is, it's like it's clearly like what we're seeing play out, the psychodrama we're seeing here play out is that he, I would guess he would, I guess we don't see this on camera because of, 1955 standards, but also because it's classy. But like, I would guess there actually is a sexual aspect to the murder, which is if I would say that he feels I have to repress the regular sexual urge because if I don't, it will just turn to murder, and I'm trying to get this money.
That's very Bluebeard, kind of
Yeah,
very Bluebeard thing.
yeah,
At
for
least the
sure.
movie I saw with Richard Burton, that's a very similar theme. Anyway,
Number one,
Um,
get paid. Number two, three, figure it out.
money over bitches, basically.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
Bluebeard's rules.
yeah, it's Bluebeard Slim. Bluebeard Slim. It's 5 rules for owning a bitch. But yeah, no, what was I gonna say though is
Part five.
but yeah, so that's how I read that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's an orthodox read on it actually. I don't know. But
I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't. You mean the idea of it?
he's repressing all of his sexuality because it's linked with murder.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I figured that.
I think
no,
that's
I think that's
yeah.
fairly obvious.
Yeah, okay.
No.
Sure. Good. I'm glad I'm not going crazy.
Yeah,
But yeah,
we're
so
with
but
you.
again, but the way she reacts to this is like not like first of all, she is now feeling because of I guess possibly due to societal standards at the time, it's like,
Mhm.
oh God, I'm a fucking harlot for wanting that for my husband and he doesn't even want it. Why? And she says like to nobody in particular, I need to change to be the woman that you want me to be.
I think she's like
Smash
talking to
cut.
God
Yeah, well,
when
Satan,
she's saying
really,
that
but
stuff.
yes,
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Well, she's talking to like a higher power.
definitely. But okay, smash cut to she's now Xena LaVey at the head of the
Oh
fucking Church of
man.
Satan with flames.
Oh
It's a tent
no.
revival, full on tent revival scene, and yeah,
I
and
love
she's
I
feeling
love
it
the placement of the torches.
with
It's
like inches
very
from her head. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, very economical. There's
you're right. It's the horrors of Protestantism, is what this.
yes,
it's the horrors
literally,
of a
yeah.
low budget. They
I
couldn't
mean,
afford to decorate the the chapel, so they just said fill 70% of the frame with fire.
Well, I think that's a double metaphor. Obviously, it's supposed to be devilish.
Oh, quite.
Don't you think the flame is supposed to
yeah,
indicate that this is not a holy flame
Oh,
that we're
certainly.
witnessing at all? It's very much diabolically inspired.
yeah. The symbolism is on the nose
Love
in
that.
very. I do too. It's not in a bad way. Like it's not
Yeah.
ham-fisted, but it's also like it's like, oh yeah, I get it. It's like,
And I would say that it has some latitude given that it's like this is an earlier film. Like
yeah,
you're allowed to be a little bit more on the nose in 1955 than you can be in 2025. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
People are idiots back then. No, yeah, but I know what you're saying.
And just like I mean, like it's been done because now if we just film the frame with a bunch of fire, it'd be like, all right, well, who do you fucking what are you
Well,
doing? Am I the
again, if you
hunter?
wanted to
Like,
have that overt symbolism on a stage, for example, like you don't have a lot of options that you would like that's where it goes back to
true.
Laughlin being a stage director as well. It's like, okay, well, how are we going to communicate like some sort of evil
Yeah,
hellish symbolism? Like, well, flames are classic. It's like, yeah,
flames are pretty effective, especially when
yeah.
he's standing ominously with his hands
And
crossed
this
in the
is like
back,
the
dressed
fire.
in black.
This is the fire and brimstone tent
Yeah,
ministry or what it's called. Yeah,
tent revival, I think
tent
it's called.
revival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Um.
uh he turned to his producer Paul Gregory, I believe, and said, "Can we get fire? Is that in the budget? Is that a thing?" I don't know, Scott, if you came or you, Bobby, across any of these interviews that the producer gave about how this came to be. They first met in an
I didn't see
alley.
this. I saw the thumbnail of it on YouTube. I didn't watch it.
They met in an alley, then they met in the
Really?
hotel, then they stayed up till 2 in the morning, and I seem to recall something about the young man who plays John going to Lawton's house and swimming in the pool
Oh
for I don't
no.
know. Pools are cool. Yeah, I don't know.
Why are you telling
I
me
don't know.
this? I didn't need to
What
know
are we
this.
Maybe
looking at?
this is an
It's like a
MJ
Bryan
thing
Singer
where,
thing.
or maybe it's an MJ thing where
Yeah.
is he all right? I don't know where we stand with MJ at this
I
point,
don't know.
to be
I don't
honest.
even. I mean, I don't whether or not Michael Jackson is guilty or not, but this doesn't sound good.
I
Listen,
will stand. I will die on this hill. Just so you guys know, I do not negate an artist for their
No,
degeneracy.
nor I. I still like
Degeneracy is
the
needed
Who.
for great art.
I still like the Who, despite the fucking documentary that never came out.
I think that's all horseshit, but we'll talk about that another. But like, I'm not gonna stop listening to Chuck Berry because he was into scat. Woody Allen movies are fucking hilarious. Anyway, go ahead. Michael
Yeah,
Jackson.
we'll
Robert
definitely separate the art from the artist.
Robert
However, this is
Mitchum
dark.
Yeah.
played in a film called Secret Ceremony, which came out in '68, I think. Starred Mia Farrow, and it's about a guy who moves into the family, the stepfather, and then he like tries to take up with the young stepdaughter, uh, Mia Farrow, that whole thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found that to be a weird echo. Uh,
But what is there anything
Mia
weird in the
Farrow being the
movie?
wife of Woody Allen.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh yeah.
no, it was
Yeah.
just Robert. Oh, he also worked for Lockheed Martin. I thought that was funny too.
Robert Mitchum did?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just
In
spitting
what
shit out now
capacity?
when it.
Oh, you just make that up?
No, think it's right on the Wikipedia, I believe.
What did he do at Lockheed Martin?
Let's see. Let's see if
Should
I
I
can.
invest in Lockheed Martin, given the fact that we're going to war with fucking Russia in a couple weeks?
Well, this is not financial advice, Scott. I was just searching
But
Robert
maybe
Mitchum
Robert Mitchum came back
classic
from the dead
Hollywood
to
star.
get me to invest in Lockheed Martin and make a fortune.
I mean, that's one
Um,
way to do it.
he himself wanted to get into horses. He was, yeah. I don't know if he did work for Lockheed Martin, but I don't know if I
And
could
he's
tell
probably
you.
just a spokesman.
Oh,
Fine.
sheet metal worker. Okay,
He's a
that's
bit of
Really?
he's
yeah.
a bit of a rubber face, that Robert Mitchum. It's a very
Yeah.
it's a very distinct.
Hats. I love hats. The movie Rubberface, if you know what I'm talking about.
Uh, yeah,
It's
sort of.
not good.
I figured that's what you were referencing.
But yeah, anyway, yeah, so let's talk about that murder scene, which is exquisitely shot in the German expressionist style. I
Mm.
noted, I believe, did I send this to you, Bobby, or did I just send this to you, Patrick? The screenshot from a YouTube video
Oh yeah.
that showed alongside this scene a screenshot from Midsummer by Ari Aster.
Or was it Hereditary?
It
I
was
thought
Hereditary, yeah.
the clubhouse or
The
the
clubhouse, yeah.
treehouse.
It's
Yeah.
exactly the same fucking shot.
Yeah.
Let's pull that up real right quick.
Bobby, what are your thoughts on Hereditary?
I
It's
like that movie. I like that.
I
I like
like
that
it.
better than Midsummer.
I think
agreed.
that Ari Aster's. Well,
Wait,
I don't know. I don't think he's like God's gift to fucking cinema, but I like his
cer
movies.
certainly not. But yeah, he does
But
make.
he's like one of the new guys, you know. He's like this generation's whatever, but he's fine.
I enjoyed Jewish Mother Simulator 2022, also known as Beau is Afraid.
Oh,
I didn't
never
watch
saw
it.
that.
It looked upsetting. I don't need to see that shit.
It
I like
was upsetting.
I
what's his
forget.
name is my favorite now.
Ooh, the
Of those
softies, they're
modern
pretty good.
guys, I'm a big fan of what's his name? Robert Eggers.
He's
Oh,
good.
that guy's good. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say though, Ari Aster, I have like a love-hate relationship with. I like his movies, but like they're really like
They're kind of
anti-white movies. Like
they're kind of
pretty,
cunty too.
yeah. Well, they are what they are. They come
Yeah.
from an Ari Aster, but
Yeah.
I do
I don't want to hang
enjoy
out with that
them
guy. I
in
can tell
spite
just
of.
by watching his movies. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to like talk to
Good
you.
way to put
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I don't think I would get along with him,
I
but
want to
I
talk
enjoy
to,
his movies.
or I want to hang out with Jodorowsky. You know, that'd be interesting, but not Ari Aster.
Is he alive, Jodorowsky?
I doubt it.
Yeah, I don't think so. Anyway, but
Well,
yeah, so that scene there, I just showed it on the screen, but eloquently, like, she's like sort of framed, she's separated by light, like she's over by the light and he's shrouded in darkness, but like the light is coming in,
Hmm.
and he's like almost preaching to her, and it culminates in him about to stab her, and then it cuts away very classily. And yeah, that's a very, very scary, spooky scene.
I mean,
Patrick, any
listen,
thoughts on that scene?
I mean, it's a scary, spooky scene for certain. I don't, you know, we're certainly desensitized now to, what constitutes a horror movie. I think a lot of it comes down to pacing. Um, you can kind of preempt 9 out of 10 horror movie scares before they happen, anyways. Even if,
Mm,
even that's if you've already given yourself beyond, you've suspended disbelief. But with this, you kind of, it's already stupid what's happening here. This woman, you know, she's totally
she's
brainwashed, and
imbibed his program.
yeah, there's no two ways about it. You know what's going to happen. So what do you need to see it for, anyways? Um, it's about what it causes. It's about what happens next. So, and frankly,
Mm,
the shot that establishes what happens to her is, one of another one of the most imitated, probably, and
yeah.
influential.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Very striking
her
scene where she.
underwater.
Do you think there's anything into the symbolism of her being in a Model T?
Oh no, shit. I mean, it's
Don't they
possible.
reference the Model T in this? It's like something else I watched recently. I don't know.
I don't think, because there's another car earlier in it, and it's actually named, and it's not a Model T. And I noted on Wikipedia that it is that the car that she has been dumped in, after being murdered, into the lake, and is maybe basically placed as like, again, like a pagan icon, sacrificial icon at the bottom of the lake or the bottom of the river. Um,
That hair effect is amazing, by the way.
yeah, is that is, she's not, that's like a cast of her, right?
Yeah,
And they put
Yeah,
that
yeah,
at the bottom of
yeah.
the
I would
water. Yeah.
imagine. But on that note, like,
Very
yeah,
effective looking one though.
I do
That poor
100%
woman.
consider
That
this horror.
poor woman.
They're gonna drown that poor woman. Sorry.
I definitely consider this a horror movie to Patrick's commenting on that. But one thing I will say to its credit, there's no, we are
Jump
desensitized
scare.
to certain things. There's no cheapness to the horror, though. It's all
Yeah.
very methodical, and there's no like jump scares. Or I don't think there is, at least.
Not to my knowledge,
It's
no.
just lurking dread, and like when the kids are in the basement, for example, and they're hiding,
Oh,
it's like shadow that's at the top of the stairs. Like shit like that is way more effective than,
yeah.
here
They
comes.
did the mummy thing, I noted. The mummy thing where, meaning where they're running and they're going slow and you're like, go faster. And
Yeah.
then you see him and they cut between him and the
Mhm.
kids.
Well, that's like
And
a dream thing too. Going back to your David Lynchian
absolutely,
dream,
yes.
like you running, you can't get anywhere, kind of stuff.
That's
Mhm.
true. I
And
didn't,
that's
yeah,
that's like people always complain, like, no, that's kind of the point. I don't think that kind of stuff is unintentional. Like it's like no,
for
it's
sure.
supposed to communicate that like you can't get away, even though from a
You
physics
can.
standpoint, it's kind of the cheap version of that is like in the slasher when the girl runs up the stairs, I guess. Like it's like, well, why
Right.
did you do that? But and that's
Now you're
distracting
stuck.
in of itself. But yeah, having like some sort of chase where it seems like they're right on
But
the
he
tip.
keeps tripping too, and he
Yeah,
keeps cutting between. It's like, but that's what I meant by the mummy thing. Like the mummy trips, and it's like, oh no, it's like,
and when
oh,
he's like
they're just gonna get away.
when the kids are about to escape on the boat and he's like crashing through the trees and stuff, it's almost like this like King Kong Frankenstein thing going
Yeah,
on.
Mm.
yeah, yeah. His arms, the way his arms are moving, he almost becomes inhuman. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
And he has a lot, there's a lot of talk of his noises that he makes, being animal,
Or
noises.
Bugs Bunny esque
Oh,
Or
almost.
very Blues
chasing the kids
Booney.
up the stairs is like it's literally a Frankenstein, like zombie
Yeah.
Yeah,
kind of.
I listened to a review, where someone said, "Oh, I didn't care for that It's like, oh, come on, stop
Like at this
that.
point, like let them have it. Like
The,
we're dealing with a storybook tale, not realism in this movie.
what I love is you can tell that was one of the things drawn probably, it might have very well been from the original author's, mind's eye. But I love the language of the movie. It's very, very simple and 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, where John will, his eyes will dart to the left and he'll look here, they'll dart to the right, he'll look there, and then that's when he blots out the candle, knocks over the shelf, and there's
Right.
something about it's very it was very well staged, and it's funny because it's a scary, dark, mature a movie as it is, it's in the language of a children's story,
Yeah.
where a child could watch it and understand it and really be scared by it, that's a question I guess we'll get to is, do you show this to children? I don't know at what age, but
Over double digits, I would say, but children could
It
appreciate it.
it
A
almost has like
younger person, I would
it almost
say.
has like a Roald Dahl type,
Yeah.
I
like
don't want to say that.
children's scariness.
Spook.
You don't think
Okay,
so?
that he is a spook. No, we just don't like him.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
He tells
yeah,
his story well. I like his
interesting. He'll
doodles.
look into that. But I'm just saying, like Roald Dahl didn't hesitate to write some really scary, weird shit
Oh
for
yeah,
children.
yeah. Oh, I liked it as a kid. I just when I found out what kind of guy he is as an adult, I'm like, damn.
So
um,
with the language, yeah, I mean double digits, yeah. I think 10 years old, you get to watch Night of the
Night of the
Hunter.
Hunter. Yeah,
And I think this is the season for this movie, right up through fall to this ends up being a
that's
Christmas
true.
movie by the end.
That's a
So
good Father's Day movie.
yeah, it depends on the household, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can
You
make a
don't like your
playlist of
dad.
those.
Yeah, if you really don't get along with your dad, it's a
Yeah, it's
great
Falling
Father's Day
amazing.
movie.
Down. That's a good fun.
That's a Father's Day
Falling Down's a
movie.
great Father's Day movie.
Uh,
Kramer versus Kramer. That's a good Father's Day
There
movie.
will be blood. Bastard in a basket.
I've abandoned my boy.
But yeah, so the next sequence though is the boat sequence, which is I would say is again it really leans into the dream logic kind of this where like again you
Mm,
talked earlier about that song about the fly and then immediately after she starts singing the song about the fly they actually pass out of a spider web,
yeah.
which is the way, do you see the way they did that effect?
That was not a real spider web,
No, obviously it's
right?
not a real fucking
Well,
spider
no,
web, but they also didn't shoot it from that high up with the
yeah.
spider web in focus because you can see the spider web is semi in focus as well as the boat behind.
Hmm.
But they did that as a very early camera trick where they shot the spider web and then actually like laid the film over the other layer of film. You know what I'm saying? Bobby, maybe you
Hmm.
can speak to this. Did you see anything about how they accomplished that spider web scene in the boat ride? I saw a couple quick little clips of them. They shot the spider web scene against a black background, and then they also shot the boat scene from above. And I believe that they actually layered on the film over of the spiders over the other piece of film and then just ran it. You know what I mean? Like I did a
Nice.
composite shot, I think is the term
Hell
that
yeah.
they use, if I'm not mistaken. Which is pretty advanced for the time, if I'm not mistaken.
It's the
Uh,
kind of thing that a guy who doesn't know the rules says, "Can we do this?" And they're like, I mean, yeah,
can I tell you he didn't have this planned at the time. It was conversation with I don't remember, maybe it was the producer or the guy who wrote the book where they said something about like, oh, I feel like they just got out of a spider's web, and they go, oh, can we do something with the spider's web? Like,
oh, oh, can we do a spider web? I mean, I just meant to say that's not a real spider web. It looks like a net, you know?
it is, yeah. But I meant to
Yeah.
say that the way that it's both things are in focus, that's like a camera trick. I'm saying.
Oh yeah, no, I know that. Yeah, it's very clever and quite the
visual
it's
metaphor too, by the way.
it,
They literally escaped the spider. The boat going right now has
mhm.
left the spider's web for the time being.
Yeah,
And it
well,
shows all the other animals, which I think I actually, if I'm not mistaken, I heard something from the author of the book, Davis Grubb, and he said that the reason why I think the animals make an appearance in the book as well. Like like he mentions that there's animals there,
time
and the
is spent
reason
on
is
them. Yeah.
that it is they're a part of the wild ecosystem. They're literally they're no different than an animal trying to survive in the forest, which and that's really
Mhm.
driven home by the fact that there's rabbits and owls, and then that pays off later because it shows a rabbit getting scooped up by an
It's like a
owl.
predator prey motif too.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think the author was like he wanted to hammer home that like now they've entered the natural world and they're like
Mm,
it's survival of the fittest kind of thing.
mm.
But I will say this is where I said by the way earlier that I think this is like I feel like Oh Brother Where Art Thou really reminds me of this because like the river's just taking them. They're not even really rowing.
Yeah.
And it's like sort of the story is now taken. The story is now gained momentum and they're going
Mhm.
through. Now I had this thought, and I'm gonna run it by you guys, and I don't think it's a firm interpretation or anything, but when I saw that it's like a river, and I was like, and the singing, I was like, is this like a River Styx thing? And then maybe they died. He did catch them and killed them. And this is them crossing over to, I mean, again, the problem with this interpretation is that there's more conflict after this. And if they
Yeah.
were going to heaven, they wouldn't have more conflict, of course.
This is
Yeah.
like the revisionist Minority Report theory.
No, that's a an
That's
established
confirmed.
theory.
Okay.
That's an no, it's not
I mean,
confirmed by
I
Steven
think he
Spielberg or
could
anything.
be what you're suggesting, but I don't think that that was the
I'm not actually suggesting that they did die, but I will say this is that I think it's a non there's a non-zero amount of it being Allusion allusion to the river Styx
sure.
where they have a earthly heaven on earth when they end up at the home of Rachel
Well,
at the end
it's
of the film.
definitely like crossing a Rubicon into the next act or the next like the
Next
I
phase,
guess the resolution or the yeah, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it's like the next
the
segment of
next
the
state.
movie or the next stage of their journey kind of
Yeah.
thing.
For sure.
It's
I
almost
don't actually think
Odyssean.
that they were dead, but
Yeah.
I
I
do
like
think
to
that
watch it that way now, and we can put it on a subreddit somewhere where
fan
people
theory,
can
our our shitty fan theories.
yeah, that's a good subreddit.
It actually
Our
is pretty funny,
shitty
yeah.
fan theories.
But yeah, no, but anyway, so yeah, it becomes very mystical at this point, and it's like I almost want to say that the animals are like again, it's drawing on like something like almost like a Huck Finn sort of Americana
Hmm.
journey archetype kind of thing where like animals are I don't know, I actually haven't read Huck Finn in a long
Or
time,
could it
but
be when they arrive at Mother Goose Rachel's house? Could it be like with the animal stuff and like, the
she's like Snow White.
no, I was gonna say more like a return to like Innocence Garden of Eden kind of thing, where it's
Yeah,
like
yeah, for
order out
sure.
of chaos, like the they work the I don't know, more balance to I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I think you know what I'm trying to say.
Well, they live a life of service to each other, that's for
Uh-huh.
sure. It's more of a like Edenic existence, I suppose. And it's based all off of, mercy
Hmm.
and forgiveness too. I mean, like Ruby, the character, like she literally rats them out, and like not even for a second is Rachel pissed at her. Like, you know what I mean? Like, uh,
There's some it feels like a lot of Rachel's dialogue at the end feels like it's being spoken directly to parents and guardians of children to like hear these things and internalize them
yeah.
because this is the kind of patience that you should probably uh try to exercise.
I would say also it kind of comes off in the same tone as like
The preacher.
No, I was gonna say I was gonna say
Oh.
it comes to me. It's like it's almost like she's telling a story patiently to a child, at the
Mm,
way she's sort of talking to no one in particular at the end of the film. It's
mm.
almost like she's addressing you. You've been in the child seat the entire film, by the
Oh
way. So
yeah,
it's like
they're breaking the fourth wall.
yeah, in
I
the
think.
very beginning of the movie, she's
Well,
talking to you as
it's
well.
almost like a narrator bookend thing.
Yeah, for sure. But considering she's at the beginning too,
They're
definitely.
definitely talking to the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when she's telling them stories about, you know, the kings
Moses.
and so Moses and so on and so forth, it's also, you know, they're minor allusions to how the story's progressing, and there's layers and layers of the same kind of the same way that they're being cast into nature, uh, just like all the other little things, and the way that the world can be hard on them all the time, the way that it's said here and it's said in Raising Arizona. Um,
Yeah.
And that was one of
they
my
might,
go ahead. Sorry.
they might float on into the, loving and gracious hands of someone who will, take care of them in that, like Moses. And,
Yeah.
That
Well,
was one of
also,
my
you
go
go ahead.
ahead.
Sorry.
I
No, no,
was
no,
gonna
you
say
first.
that no, you hang up. Um no, that was one of my almost eye-rolly groan moments when they were rolling up on the boat into Rachel's little farm or whatever. I was like, oh
Mhm.
God, is this gonna be like a Moses thing? And then
yeah,
like sure enough, like 5 minutes later, they're like
She
telling
name
the
drops
story of
Moses.
yeah, I was like, oh, I guess it
yeah.
was. Yeah. It was very forgivable, but yeah, anyway.
But yeah, no,
I,
I think it's equivocal though with like they are on an exodus. They're literally
Yeah, for
gone
sure.
away from their home or gone away from the place where they were abiding, and now they're going to go somewhere, a promised land, as it were, a loving
Everything's a
home that
message.
any child deserves, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure.
And the fact that John is the one that has to step up into the role of the father, which, he can use all of the, kingly, royal state of mind,
Sure. If he
motivation he
wishes.
can. If it's, that's the kind of
But
stuff.
but that's also like Moses.
He's a big
I guess
Moldbug
the
fan.
character, the Moldbug.
He's a big fan of Moldbug.
Oh yeah,
No,
so he's like
no.
the dark elites, yeah, in the group,
Oh, never
the
that.
secret group chat with the Trump staffers where they're
Oh,
actually
God.
secretly based.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, because it doesn't exist. But what was I gonna say? But no, I was gonna say the character Moses in the Bible, though, also like he is something of a child who had to step up for his family, you know, like
Mm,
in this formation, it would be his entire people, where now he had to step into the shoes, even though he was robbed. I mean, I guess he wasn't robbed of a child because he was raised by those nice people, but he's robbed of his birthright, which is to be raised in the keeping of his people. You know what I mean?
mm.
Or the
Or
style of his
have a father figure.
true. Yeah, I don't think Moses or Pharaoh is doing a very good job
Right.
as
Yeah.
father
Clearly.
figure.
His dad was flying planes before that depression hit, this here era of depression. Peter Graves, no, he's
Oh
flying
yes,
planes.
I
Yeah,
get it. Yeah, he was the pilot
he
in
had
the
to. Yeah,
airplane. Yeah, not
turn
the
to robbing
inflatable one,
banks.
the other one.
Yeah.
Not the inflatable. Wait, was this the do you like movies about gladiators guy?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, right on. I
it's
knew
the
he was
same.
in it. I
That's the
didn't know
dad.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
He's a grown man naked.
He got way better than a Turkish prison. Then
Yeah,
that was
you
a
ever been to Turkish
bathhouse.
prison? Yeah.
Bad. Either way, is yeah, he gets yanked up out of the skiff, his father's skiff, mind you, and we should mention that there was one adult that
Oh yeah, Uncle
John and Pearl,
Bertie.
good old Uncle Bertie's steptoe,
Oh
uh,
yeah.
drunk off his chair
Sweetened up
at,
his coffee.
yeah, at this
He
old
sweetened up his
age.
coffee a little bit too much that night. Although
Yeah,
I
that's
don't know what he
interesting.
would have done to protect them, so I think it's actually almost a blessing that he was non-responsively drunk.
I
And
think that was just another, obstacle on the journey where it's like, hey, let's go to Homeboy's house. He'll help us. He's an adult. And it's like, oh shit, I got to man up and fucking move
Yeah,
past this
mm,
situation too. Like you can't trust nobody till you get to Mother Goose's house, you
There
know.
Well, I
were a
think that's
lot of Uncle Berties in the audience back in '55, I'm
Because we need someone to
sure.
relate to.
yeah.
It was a DEI effort.
The,
It
the
was
whole theater,
representation. Yeah.
Like we need drunk bachelors that live in a shed
We'll
represented in our
talk
films.
to pictures.
Focus group.
No, I was gonna say no. That's a good insight, Bobby, because you're right. He was just another example of a time where he needed to step up. But to that end, if Uncle Bertie wasn't shithoused, he
Uh-huh.
John might have been cool. I'm with an adult. I'm safe because he's a
Yeah.
child. Don't forget, he doesn't really grasp the maybe he doesn't fully grasp the gravity of the situation. But
Mm.
given that he was given no choice by the fact that Bertie is laying on the ground in his own vomit, um, he now will have to. Then it is now clear that he must
Well, that
step
didn't
up to
work
the plate.
out. Yeah. Now, was this supposed to be his real uncle? Did you guys pick up on that, or was it
I think
some
he was
dude?
just like a guy that his dad drank with,
Right on?
but
Like
wasn't a pedophile.
Yeah, but wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
he's basically the mayor.
He was the mayor and do the right thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Miller
John,
High Life. The Miller High
John,
Life.
He was Doc Brown.
Yeah. He was like, "Great Scott."
do the right thing,
He saw no,
Marty.
he's go out in his boat fishing and he sees the woman's corpse in the bottom of the water and he goes, "Great Scott."
And it's funny. I thought about this for a while. Why he didn't do anything? He's like, they're gonna think it was me if I tell them about this woman. So he just gets drunk. It's
Yeah.
like,
I mean,
how does first wife die that they're already looking at him for this next one? It's probably
Well, I think you could take it one way or the other. One being that like he's just paranoid because he's alcoholic and he's always hungover, so he's going, "Oh God," you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
he was seeing double four crusties, and so he's fucking thinking that no matter what, he's on the hook for this thing.
That's
I'm
funny.
not saying this is intentionally derived from Mark Twain, but wasn't that, or Huck Finn, Tom Sawyer, wasn't that one of the kind of side quests in one of those books where they go home to dad, but dad's a drunk or something, and they're on the
That
river? I
sounds
don't.
right.
There's some sort of like unconscious thing there. I think maybe.
I think you're right about
I'm
that.
just spitballing here.
I like the sound of it, and it sounds right.
Yeah, sounds like I'm well read from 8th grade.
Yes, of course. You've read all of the you've read the Russians, obviously. Huck Finn,
Yeah,
Tom Sawyer.
he had
Dangerfield.
to have that talk with the teacher about the N word and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually, yeah, I think it
Memorable.
was I think they did just say, "Hey, just so you know,
It's in here.
it's in here." Well, then I think they were just gonna say. I think I remember what they said was basically just like, "Well, Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn, they like the black people."
Hmm.
So it's like, just be
Dude.
like them. Like, you know what I mean?
Let me
We watched-
decide. Let me
We
read it.
watched like a 20-minute VHS tape about the like importance of historical context and free speech and how censorship is.
You're from Texas, right?
And it was like, this is fucking based, but like now it's like, it's the opposite now. But yeah, I'm from Texas.
I mean, it kind of shows that they would have that tape where it's just like,
Yeah.
it's cool when we say it in the historical
But I was
context.
like, yeah, I agree with this weird video they made us watch. Where they're like, what else has like offensive shit in it? The Bible. And you're like, yeah, that's a good
So
point.
true, so true. No, I was just gonna say, if I'm not mistaken, I think that was basically the extent of it. They're like, yeah, they say the word, but you can see through the actions of Huck Finn and Tom Sawyer that like they're cool with the slaves. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not racist. That's just the way they refer to it.
Yeah, they
You
got
the
permission.
pass.
They got the
Yeah.
pass,
They got the
yeah,
impasse.
obviously.
Some people get the
Um,
pass. We can't imagine, but yeah,
Yeah.
we're not.
But
Cool.
anyway,
They were good
but yeah,
at rap
times
battle.
do change. You're right. Libtard, Massachusetts did have saying it, but it was like saying it, but you have to like them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now there's Asians saying it. I don't know
Yeah,
what. I'm
man, I
looking
don't know
around,
what's
I don't know.
going on.
All I
when
know is
when
them
Indians
nuts.
start saying it, then we'll know that like it's lost all of its power.
And then yeah, you'll hear it on the radio then with an Indian
coming.
DJ.
They're coming in droves.
Anyway, so
Is that what they call it?
just, like murders or
Like a flock. Yeah.
a flock, yeah, a flock of Indians. But yeah, so the end of the film, though, yeah, he loops in with the Miss Rachel. Miss Rachel, by the way, isn't that like a kid's entertainer now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Who's nice to kids and also
Interesting.
doesn't like genocide in Gaza.
That's
Well,
um,
good for her.
it was very brave of her because I saw a bunch of like normies being like, fuck Miss Rachel, that fucking bitch, saying that she doesn't like seeing children perish.
Whoa,
keep
whoa.
politics out of our child's
A
entertainment.
child's garbage slop entertainment. But yeah, so let's not talk about Miss Rachel. We'll talk about this Miss Rachel, but she's very sweet and she takes on all of the orphans in town to the extent where I mean, she's not like completely without snark because if I'm not mistaken, she points out like that there's a lady kissing a guy and she goes, I'm gonna be fucking having another kid. Great.
Yeah, she's
Another
kind of
mouth to
like a
feed.
bitter, self-righteous, moral superior, but like she's well-meaning, right?
And
Um,
she's right.
and she's what?
She's right. I mean, given that there's one in her own flock that she can barely keep a wrangle on, and
Handle
it
on,
That's
yeah.
true. But
speaks
she's also
to,
very like understanding of her predicament, like, oh, you silly, foolish girl, kind
You're
of
just
thing.
lonely. Yeah.
But what do you think gave Miss Rachel
We're calling her Miss Rachel now,
the
officially.
discernment to identify the hijinks and monkey shines of Harry Powell when he came around?
Well, she is
well,
the divine feminine, somewhat representative of the divine feminine, ergo wisdom.
Mhm.
And I do think, yeah, she just has like a
she has a
discernment. She
lot
is a
of
good judge of
killer
character.
lines.
Yeah,
Killer lines for sure. But she's a good judge of character because she deals probably with children who have been hurt a lot.
yeah,
And I guess also probably you could even go so far as to say maybe she just looked at John's face and knew, you
yeah,
know.
Well, there were things that gave it away, like she knew what John told her, and then when he's talking about, oh yeah, their mother, my kids, I'm looking for them. Their mother ran off to whatever Sodom across this Ohio River
Babylon. Yeah,
for them to see and hear any kind of terrible sin and perdition, whatever. Then she's like, oh, that's interesting. John came up river on a skiff, yeah,
yeah.
or down,
So
what have you,
she's a
down
down
river.
bitch that like has seen the worst of humanity and she knows how to
Yeah,
sniff. And Pearl, meanwhile, Pearl's over there fucking up the whole situation.
I know.
Tragic.
But thank God Miss Rachel's there because while she doesn't approve of genocide, she does stay strapped.
I mean,
She
Hey,
always
that's how
got
you
that thing on
fight
her.
one with the other, am I right?
Yeah. But yeah, so she points shotgun at him and chases him off. And
like Bugs
the
Bunny.
Bugs Bunny. And yeah, the film really culminates with the scene where we didn't even talk about how it intimidatingly sings
Hmm.
this
Oh
hymn.
man, I'd like to talk about that because of the way that she counters it, because he never once mentions Christ.
Yeah.
Yep,
And it's,
the
you've only heard,
Freemasons.
they are, uh, you only hear him singing, leaning, uh, this refrain, but when she sings along with him, it's actually lean on
Yeah,
Jesus, and yeah,
That's more beautifully on the nose stuff. Like,
mm,
I get what you're doing there, and
yeah.
I forgive you because it's
right.
in this context.
Well, it's to the to the same extent where shows up to her and goes like, "Oh, some other Sodom," trying to play off. He's like, "Oh, this is a pious woman. Maybe if I enshroud myself in like scriptural talk, she'll be like,
Mhm.
oh, this is what worked. It worked on fucking Icy Spoon, by saying this kind of stuff." And so yeah, he thinks it'll work on her, but no, she's got an actual discernment about her, and and yeah, she almost
Yeah.
does like a psychic battle with him,
Mhm.
or a battle of faith, as it were, because she's really just drawing on her own faith, and he's drawing his own faith, but his faith is for the father of lies.
Mhm.
There you go.
Yes. Now, do you think he consciously? Do you think he believes his own bullshit with the Jesus like preacher stuff, or is
I
he
don't think he says
actually?
No,
Jesus once, does he?
no,
That's true. So he is like a spawn of Satan.
The
yeah,
demiurge.
they can't
Yeah.
say it.
Let's get all Gnostic. But yeah, he's okay. Yeah, that's an interesting. All right.
Yeah, well, he's making vaguer illusions than it lets on, because of, his cloth, and everyone calls him a preacher, but what he cites is all. I think he's so psycho that whatever whatever God whatever his delusions don't give him, his own narcissism is happy to fill in the blanks.
Right.
So
Yeah.
he's got the scripture to back whatever, weird agenda he's set forth for the day, um, in a stolen Model T. But when when it gets to that point, I really do think that is like the dividing line is where do you you know say God's name, that he can't. Yeah.
You can't. Yeah.
So
Because
we
he's
harness that
actually.
in nowadays into a more civilized Joel Olstein prosperity gospel state church nowadays. But that guy might, I don't make accusations.
I don't know anything about Joel Osteen. He doesn't see. I don't like his hair. I'll say that.
Yeah, he looks
His
like one of
hair
those
seems fake.
Duracell battery guys from like
Yeah. 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 No. He looks kind of like a Property Brother. You know what I'm talking about? The Property
oh, I
Brothers.
speak fluent TLC. You're
Like
you're in the right place.
like he wouldn't tell you about the water damage in the basement carpet.
The Property Brothers would never do that.
Well, I mean, that was
Well,
his
first of all, the
thing
Property
where,
Brothers only cater to like gazillionaires, so
I
there's
don't know
no
anything
water
about that.
damage to be found.
Listen, forgive me. I'm over here just remembering the whole thing about him. Yeah, what's his face?
Joel Osteen.
The Hurricane Katrina. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Oh,
didn't
Like,
that.
yeah, you
Yeah,
can't
I
hang
forgot
out
about
here.
that.
Yeah, he didn't want people getting the
Or like
carpets.
go to the
ruined.
Astrodome, which is full of like rats and dust.
Yeah, which something to eat.
Right.
He wasn't
Right,
gonna
yeah.
feed them. It's a miracle
But
they
I
let them
mean,
in at
like,
all.
I mean, again, I don't want to sound like a shithead here, but like,
Continue.
no, I won't.
Those people paid for that damn whatever the hell
Oh,
he's got.
I know exactly what you're going to say, and I totally sympathize with it, and we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I was
Wait,
just gonna
wait, tell
say,
me.
what? You know, they didn't. Didn't they like destroy the Astrodome? Didn't it become like hell on earth to be in that Astrodome?
Yeah, I mean, there's an argument to be, based.
I just like I'm
Okay.
just saying, like, how could you go back to church in there knowing that rapes happened here as a matter of course
All right,
because
yeah.
it's a refugee situation?
I totally understand what because I literally had that unspoken thought during that time of that. I was like, well,
Yeah.
I mean, you got to protect what's yours, you know?
I wouldn't even go that far. I'm just saying, like, it's just like the nature of having refugees inside a building means there's going to be very bad stuff happening there. And do you really want to have your church be like? Do you want to go back to church after that happened in it?
Your church.
No.
I don't want to.
Well, it's not a real church. That's the fucking problem.
Yeah.
It's a
well,
business.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Listen,
Hey, neither
glad
one.
it wasn't my decision to make, but
I'm glad it wasn't my decision to make. And by the way, I can tell you definitively that I will never be in possession of a very large area, large place that refugees be housed in. I'm never going to own that. So I'm never going to be in that situation.
Well,
What, Scott? You don't have more than 6 square feet of space to offer to someone
No,
in
not
need?
really.
Come
Not
on, we
really.
can cram like 30 bodies in 6 square feet if you just let us.
That's very
you're pretty
social
close to
gospel
Martha's
of you.
Vineyard.
I mean, but yeah, no, certainly. I think back to Harry Powell. I think she shot him in the groin, to be honest. It's the only
Ah.
thing that makes sense.
Yeah,
You
well,
know?
also she's a little old woman. I imagine that she's like actually physically speaking, she probably would be aiming slightly low with a
Yeah.
shotgun.
It's also a shotgun, so it's like just point and click.
Yeah. But yeah, so that culminating scene where he ends up like running up on them and she does fire on him and the police do come and it results in a massive lynch mob, which again
Oh,
it speaks to the Gerardian interpretation, which I think is interesting because they would have gotten away with it too if not for the simple faith of Miss Rachel, because she breaks the unanimity of it. Because in Gerard's formulation of the sacrificial scapegoat ritual, and whether or not he is fucking guilty or not, the fact is that it's barbarous to just kill him before fucking giving him a fair trial and whatnot.
Yeah,
And
that's more throwback to kind of monster movie cliches too, as well as the angry
angry
mob,
mob, yeah,
pitchforks and torches. Real quick before Scott, I want to rewind a little bit because I wanted to get
sure.
y'all's take on the way in which John reacted when, or am I getting? Is that later on
Nope,
when
that's now. You're right.
when they arrested him?
Yep, that's now.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go. What's your point? I was just gonna. I
was just
I was gonna step over it.
so he kind of has this dreamlike flashback where like they're arresting him and he's going over there and he's just saying, hey, take the money, right?
Right.
And
Well, he says, Dad, don't forget the money.
yeah, that's what it was. So yeah, I wanted to make sure we didn't miss that. I don't really have a take.
My take on that is possibly he childishly thinks that if he gives back the money,
Yeah,
he can symbolically get his father back,
or
because
it's like
it's the money coming into his life was what took his father away.
that's what fucked all this. That's what's that was the fuse lit on this whole wacky situation.
Yeah. And then also, not for nothing, it also just shows that he's like a selfless little boy who doesn't have like worldly desires like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And he really just wants a safe home and for him and his sister, which is just nice and innocent, which is
it's
great.
almost like, you know what, fucking fine, just like here, that kind of thing.
I want to be rid of this burden, you know. In a way, it's also, think about this. If he hang on to it, there's just going to be another Harry Powell eventually. Someone else is going to find out about the money and then get after them like this. So it's actually better to get rid of this cursed money. That everything that's happened since it's come into your life has been terrible. So why not try getting rid of it? It's like the definition of insanity.
Yeah.
Just keep trying the same thing. Just keep running with
no
money.
shortcuts, only trade-offs kind of thing. It's like the people that win the lottery, they always like get cursed by it.
Well, to be fair, this might be people who play the lottery are
That's true. I know what you're saying.
are not really equipped to win the lottery. I will say, that's all I'll leave it.
Yeah, I got you. It's like don't trust polls because who fills out one of those? Not the money.
Exactly. Yeah. But anyway, so we're coming to the end of the film, but yeah, I just think it's a cool Gerardian thing where like, again, there's literally a lynch mob. They want to eliminate this guy. They're calling him Bluebeard. They're equivocating him with mythical demons, essentially. And they're all going to kill him. But what stops it is the fact that there's someone who is not on board with it. In fact, it's a whole family of people. It's Rachel and all of her kids, her orphans. But this breaks the unanimity, and it makes it so that justice can take its course. And that's like a nice little like a little mini lesson baked into it at the very end there too. I think it's very cool.
The best case is the state acts as that intermediary between the lynch mob, unanimous and justified or not. And that blood being on anybody's hands except an institution, which I guess that's where that might have started. But
the idea of having of offloading it into this like non-personage thing, I think that there's something to that, for sure. That way it's not on collectively all of our hands. It's sort of this non-entity that is supposed to broadly represent us.
If it's a true lynching, then somebody brought the horse, the rope, somebody tied the knot. There's people, there's names, and then there's talk after.
Just like when they put all your sins into the chicken and then they murder the chicken kind of thing.
Very much so. Yeah.
Who does
very
that?
much
like
so.
a diffusion of accountability or something.
Yeah.
Scapegoating.
Well, it's literally like, I mean, it's in Leviticus. Like literally they do that.
It's in Brooklyn, and they literally do
that today.
Yeah, I know.
Leviticus.
They're doing it in English now, even.
No, isn't it? I think it's like an annual thing. I don't know.
Yeah, it's for Yom Kippur.
The
Day of Atonement. Yeah.
It's
in Leviticus.
There's a Portuguese tradition of called the matança, where kind of it's not so much the religious angle, but it is a pretty like just the killing and the open view gutting and preparation of a pig. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
So
guys trying to tell me you're not cryptos? By the way,
I'm trying to say we
it is a
forgot.
pig.
I think we forgot what it is, to be honest. All right.
I think you're onto something with that.
How about
Yeah,
that? Does that make sense?
I think you're right about that. But the fact that it is a pig does put a tick mark in the non-crypto box.
Exactly. I agree. And
Now, what
also
about
there's no real religious
Yeah, it's cultural.
intonation
I
over
know.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Bohemian Grove, on the other hand? That's kind of
yeah. The Portuguese over at the Bohemian Grove, they got to get their
There are
fucking
no
shit
Portuguese people allowed at Bohemian Grove.
together.
They do the
Well, wait,
they do
wait,
the
Patrick. I will say
electricity.
this. I will say this as a point against, not against the crypto thing, but you said there's no religious aspect to the to that pig thing. That said, when they killed Vercingetorix ritually, they said this. By the way, this isn't religious. This is political.
Yeah, no, you don't believe people when they say that. I would agree.
Yeah,
As a rule of thumb,
yeah,
Good
the rule
roll.
of thumb.
everything
But anyway, let's
everything is spiritual. Yeah,
final
every-
thoughts. Final thoughts here. Any sort of symbolism we missed or we wanted to go over but we didn't go over. I think we really covered
the Hat Man.
the Hat Man makes an
Hold
appearance. So
on.
who took Benadryl?
Hold on. So, I mean, so the fact that he was coaxing information out of uh airplane during it while he was dreaming
Mm,
kind of started to give me a creepy crawly feeling. And then the silhouette being the hat, just his broad brim black hat,
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
and this being such a dreamy, it I had that on the mind. I don't take Benadryl, so I have nothing to
I feel
offer
like
other
one
than
person on 4chan came up with the concept of Hat Man, and then like it's sort of like Slender Man, where people are just like we're like, oh yeah, I saw that too, and then like it became like a
No, that's how you
self-fulfilling prophecy.
manifest things into reality.
Yeah.
have
I know
you
you're not
had
the
sleep
supernatural
paralysis?
type, Scott, but I think you could be with a little bit of perseverance.
Oh no.
That's a guy you
Uh,
don't want to meet, by the way. Me with more quirks.
Yeah. Scott doesn't need to check any more corners, any more times, any more windows. There's no need. Neither of us do. But their ghosts are real, Scott, and they're around.
Oh, the Ghost of Christmas Past, maybe.
Oh, that, that could be a teaser. Um, well, do you have any ghost stories there, Bobby?
No. We're not
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
ghosts.
yeah,
We're
yeah,
not
yeah.
doing ghosts,
We're
dude.
doing
We already
ghosts.
we're hitting the
Like
wall here as for
really
the episode
angry.
anyway.
I'm more of a Bigfoot guy, but we'll talk later. We'll talk offline.
Listen, Bigfoot, I'm more amenable to than ghosts.
It's all the
Bigfoot
same
is an
phenomenon, bro.
organism that walks around and probably reproduces. I
Nah,
believe
nah,
it
nah.
exists.
It's all
Scott,
the
you
same thing. You got to read John Keel's, son. All right.
Oh no. But anyway, so yeah, is there anything other things we wanted to cover in the film, or do you think we covered it? I think so. I will say that we got to do numbers too, by the way. But before we do that, is there anything else you guys wanted to get off your chest about this movie that you came into this episode wanted to say?
it's all been covered as far as I can tell. Everything else is to be discovered by whoever cares to watch it, because there's plenty there. There's a lot of stuff, working on multiple levels at the same time. There's plenty of ways to look at this movie, different lenses to look at it through. Um, it's very rewarding and also very easy to watch. So however you want to watch it.
Score
10, 9.5 3/4 out of 10.
nine
It's
and three quarters out of 10.
yeah, yeah, why not?
Bobby, final thoughts and score on the
I
Cinema
just wanted
Apocalypse
to,
Now
I
scale.
Yeah,
love this movie.
I just want to touch on the ending. I like how the ending wraps up with a quaint little kind of parable fairy tale wrap up, like kind of after all, tomorrow is another day kind of thing, where it's like all this crazy shit just happened.
Yeah.
It's like, well, things are right in the world again, and then it just kind of like they might as well have a little like animated fairy from Fractured Fairy Tales of Rocky and Bullwinkle, like, bing,
Yes.
and then it just um. So
Perfect.
I like that this movie. A theme of this movie is duality, and duality is fucking everywhere from multiple lenses. Everything from visually to the very
The
clear.
tattoos, the hand tattoos.
Arguably, the father's the most nuanced character in this movie.
That's true.
Everyone is kind of just. It's very clear, like who's the bad guy, obviously, and like, and everything's clear, but it's not. It doesn't make you feel smart that you notice things about this movie. Like, it's not pretentious, but but it's
Yeah.
also not ham-fisted either.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? You know what I'm trying
It's
to say?
artsy but not pretentious.
Yeah, yeah, and it's accessible, but
Yes.
also has a lot of sophisticated elements to it that make it effective. Yeah, so I guess score. I'm gonna probably go hard 9 on this. I don't know if I can add a perfection, a 10, like I don't think there is a 10, to be honest.
Yeah, that's a fair take.
So that I'm gonna give it a hard 9.
Hard 9. Yeah, so this was my first time watching it, and I feel like I could like it more if I watched it more because it does seem like a kind of movie I could catch more stuff next time.
Yes.
Um, And yeah, I also wanted to make one other comment, which is I think you were saying just a second ago about the black and white morality of it. Like, not
Mhm.
only does that work in like the context of it being like a fairy tale or a dream of a child, or you're in or if you're in the you're basically put in the shoes of a child where children don't really understand complex morality. They only stand good and bad. John's bad, you know. So, but I
You
think
hit
that's
daddy with a hairbrush.
oh, yeah,
Very
that's
funny
right.
moment when he just whips that hairbrush at man's head.
Yeah.
Very
But I
funny.
was just gonna say, yeah, no, I was just gonna say it even harkens back to, you know what, it's kind of refreshing because I'm fucking sick and tired of like he's not good or bad. He's an
Yeah.
anti here. I'm sick of that. It's garbage. That's why Game of Thrones is dog shit. And if you like Game of Thrones, you should feel bad because
Oh, I
it's
do. I
because
read it.
I'm joking. Obviously, I'm being hyperbolic, but
I
I
think
was
there's just a time and place for
Being
both of the
cheeky.
whole spectrum of that stuff.
Yeah, definitely. But this is like it's an antidote to like the oversaturation. A movie like this is an antidote to the oversaturation of the nuanced evil bullshit. Which, by the way, that I don't want to get into a whole rant about Game of Thrones, but like he knew what he was doing when he introduced you to a black and white good character at the beginning of the movie and killed him, at the beginning of the show, and then killed him in the first episode. I mean, that's clearly, what he's doing is like, hey, person who apparently likes fantasy. You know that how that fantasy media is a comforting reminder that there is good and evil in the world and that you can just choose to be on the side of the good. Fuck that. Like, that's
Right.
basically like the message of Game of
Yes.
Thrones, essentially. But I'm sorry to get off of that tangent. I just wanted to say I love when you get to just go, yes, this is a simple morality play. There's a good guy and a bad guy, and there's none of that fucking postmodern, degenerate, destroying the family unit nuance
Mhm.
that is
There's no
ruining our
well
society.
actually in this movie.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Not
It's
one.
all the good people talk about, well, I guess the bad people talk about God too, but the good people talk about God and they're actually mean it, and it's not like some cynical bullshit, like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, where a lot of times in movies now, if they show someone religions, if you see someone being outwardly religious, you go, oh, that's the bad guy. Like, you
So
know.
I think there's a way to watch a film where you don't want to think but you still want to observe. And I think
Yes.
that this movie does that. Like there's so much richness to it, but it's not difficult at the same time, and it's not cheap either. Like, I don't
Accessible
know.
is the word you used earlier. I like that. That's great.
What was it?
Accessible.
Yeah, it is accessible, but it's also not vapid. Um, and I was gonna say, as I was watching it, I was like, I bet Guillermo del Toro is a big fan of this movie.
He
And sure
is.
enough, when I was researching it, there's like a bunch of interviews where he's talking about this movie because he's all into like the kind of fable from the child's view
Yeah,
or thriller kind of thing. So anyway,
definitely. Yeah, he won't shut up about it. In fact, I've seen like I've
Shut the fuck up.
several interviews where he just talked about this. Yeah. But for my final score, I'm gonna have to give it an 8.75, I would say. Not
Damn.
quite a 9, but I could see myself liking it more next time and perhaps
Everybody's a
rating it even
critic.
higher. Everyone is a critic. But that's a fucking excellent.
You
Don't
would
miss
have
me with this. Miss me with this sheepish.
you would have ran Lawton out of town, man. Pitchforks and torches. Shit, man. No,
Yeah,
honestly.
8.75. That's an
Yeah, no, seriously.
astoundingly good score. I gave
Absolutely.
Thief that
I'm
score.
I damn, Thief's good.
Yeah.
Thief's good.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
no, I'm glad you liked it as much as you did, and I'm glad to hear, Bobby, that you like it as much as well, because
Oh yeah.
yeah,
When Scott was like, "You want to do Night of the Hunter?" I was like, "Fuck yeah, let's do that." That sounds good to me. I'm kind of tired of picking apart Kubrick, to be perfectly honest. You know,
oh
like
sure.
it's
Yeah.
not no disrespect to the episode we did on 2001. I'm just like it's all been done. Like there's very as much as celebrated this movie is, there's very little like internet jerking off to it at the same time.
Yeah, I think it's
We
a
need
little
more
too
jerking off the Night of
complex.
the Hunter.
There's no Jay Dyer. Not that I looked, but I assume there's no Jay Dyer episode on this.
Yeah.
It's a little.
I'd
I
watch,
think this
I'd
movie's a
watch
little
that to be
above Jay
fair.
Dyer's. Jay Dyer. This is a little bit above Jay Dyer's pay grade, I think. In fact,
Well, I
oh,
don't
by the way,
go ahead.
sorry, I just wanted to just. I had this idea. Hey guys, how about Jay Cryer? And he's like, guys, it's not the Jews, it's the Freemasons, it's the Jesuits.
Uh
Get this man a tissue.
It's Jay Cryer, get it?
One thing I was curious, and it never came up. Real quick, I know we're wrapping, but
I know.
I was
It's all
wondering,
good.
like,
We got
oh
time.
God, how is Scott gonna schizoid this film?
No.
And there's none of that. And sometimes
Well,
that's nice.
I did a
Sometimes
little
it's nice not
schizo.
to
I would say Freudian analysis is somewhat
okay. I
schizo.
mean, there's only always 2 degrees of schizoid separation, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
But there was no. I don't think there was like an intentional agenda,
No,
intelligence agenda behind Night of the Hunter. It's like,
definitely.
let's
I
make
think
a
Charles
good fucking
Laughton's a
movie.
goodie.
Yeah, yeah. He's one of the good ones.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's
He
nothing
worked for
schizophrenic.
Tavistock. Like fuck.
Well, yeah, we'll follow up if that's the kind of addendum that's required. But I mean, the most schizophrenic thing about this movie was the preparation that I did, which involved Google translating an entire Italian, I think, graphic novel with the most horrifying, like Gonzo style art. That's
Yeah.
a photo of a like sheriff's deputy and the murderer that Powell was based on.
Yeah.
Um,
Powers. Max
yeah,
Power.
Darth Darth Powers.
Einstein Q Rockefeller. He had several other pseudonyms, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
I'm quoting here. He was called the Swede. He was distinguished.
Oh no, sorry, it's
And
Hercules Rockefeller and Einstein Q Rembrandt, actually.
Esquire.
Hmm.
Just don't call me Shirley.
Just don't call me late for dinner.
There you
Yeah.
go. But schizophrenic is like going through this and like highlighting.
Hey, did you dig
parts
anything
about,
up from that?
I mean, there's just these one-off little weird things about um the author. This is almost 100 years on
Davis
now. So
Grubb.
not no, this is some Italian fellow who wrote a graphic novel called Harry and the Helpless Children. I'm not gonna, yeah, kind of creepy. But there was these passages in here where he's like, I guess doing like, uh, yeah, persona poetry about being one of the identities that this serial killer, maybe a preacher, one of them, was going by, and he was the head of the agency, the gray, indistinct man who, behind the desk, recommended another man to the widows, a gentleman who was well mannered in every way, and that struck me as scary. The idea that these now we should emphasize the murderer that this guy, the
Is
preacher
based on.
Robert Mitchum is based on, was a guy who was subscribing to Lonely Hearts memberships and like getting
Yeah.
lonely widowed women to, in the worst of
Answer an
times.
ad, like a personal ad almost.
Yeah, and just reel them into, with all of this talk and then, so on and so forth. But it's a really scary thing that some of them might have been set up, for that express purpose. Um, and yeah, then there was something in here about him being an architect, which, from what I've read about architects in the past week, Scott,
Yeah.
these guys
And
They're
are
weird. They're weird guys.
he was also the grandfather of Bill Barr. No, yeah. I mean, and then the Lockheed thing with Robert Mitchum's kind of weird. I'm surprised. Yeah, but
I think like all actors have to like they're like in some way like they're picked, you know what I mean?
oh yeah,
I think I just saw like a thing where like it was like Robert De Niro and Al Pacino were living in an apartment together and then like Richard Dreyfuss moved in or some shit, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like but
Uh,
yeah, it's nothing is organic.
I'll
But it
never,
seems seemingly Charles Laughton's filmmaking is.
yeah, though I'll never forgive Robert Mitchum for that, getting caught with marijuana with that strumpet. What's her face?
Who?
No good. I don't remember. Either way, no good, Robert.
Yeah, every time I keep hearing his
Chin
name and I
up.
can't not think of the song Golden Age by the Velvet Underground. Because he's referenced in that song.
Really? What album's that from?
who's that? Bowie.
No, it's no no, it's a new age. It's a new age. It's
New
called
Age.
by the Velvet Underground and it's on the album Loaded.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
dude, that
I have
album.
heard
I
of
had
it.
a CD player in college, and it would not eject. I love that record. It would not eject the
He got sick of
CD,
it.
and that's all I could ever listen to if I didn't want to listen to the radio. So I got kind of sick of Velvet Underground Loaded. Fun fact about Bobby. Anyway,
I'm having the same problem with my PlayStation 3 or 4 right now. I forget what it is.
Hotline Miami stuck in there.
No, it's not a disc. Hotline Miami. I can still play that without too much of a problem, but I can. I don't know what's in there.
Shame.
It's probably
That's a shame.
hereditary.
Anyway,
Spooky.
Bobo, anything you'd like to promote before we hit the road?
Snobby Bobby.
yeah, real quick. Check out Scott and I co-hosting with Monica Perez once a month on her premium stuff, where we discuss a movie of her choice. I like. It's fun. It's fine to take the back seat from time to time. With that. She has good taste, though. I will say that.
She
For
does
someone
have a good
who's not
taste.
a
Shouts
real
out Monica.
connoisseur of film. She picks some good ones to discuss, and we kind of try to keep it, making sure it's like her show that we just kind of ride along with. And then I have a movie podcast called Not for Everyone. We've been kind of on a hiatus a little bit in the last couple months, but instead of editing our new episode, I did this with you guys. Our new episode should be coming up in the next couple days on
Well,
Frank
thank you.
Linenhotter's basket case, because we're doing a theme for Halloween of tiny terrors. We're going to cover movies with tiny, terrible guys, little monsters.
Yeah, that's a classic tiny character that is evil
Basket case?
monster. Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to like stay away from like Chucky and like all the like cliche ones. We're like,
Do
Leprechaun, you gonna
Lost
do?
Highway.
no, we're gonna do. We've done that already. We're gonna do
Lep
Basket
in the
Case
Hood.
Magic with Anthony Hopkins about the ventriloquist doll, which is
Oh,
a
yeah.
great movie. And then the original Troll, because Troll 2 has been talked
Yeah,
about.
beaten to
enough.
death. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think one of our audience members recommended that we watch the 1990 something kind of leprechaun ripoff called Rumpelstiltskin. So that's
Ooh.
so nothing
That sounds
highbrow.
fun.
I mean, don't let our hot takes on this show deceive you. What we got going on is a lot more shenanigan stuff. Not for every
Cool.
podcast.
Thank you for joining us, and I appreciate that you push back your show for us. I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
yeah, it
because-
is. They're used to it by now. It's a lot of
And
fun.
I
Just so
will
you guys
say
know,
that
this is a lot of work.
yeah, I appreciate it though because that means I can like get 6 hours of sleep.
Nice.
Hell yeah, brother.
But yeah, so so for us, www.historyhomos.com for the RSS feed. We're also available on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, BitChute, Odyssey, Rumble, Rockfin, and most importantly, historyhomospod.substack.com. If you like this show, you can get 100% more show, 2 episodes a week up from 1, small fee, monthly fee, 4 episodes a month. And it's a full show. It's like a full, like we did a movie analysis. Another good example of an episode would be we did a different movie analysis. It's a full show. It's not some rinky dink half ass bullshit. So please join us over there, historyhomospod.substack.com. We are now officially bestsellers on Substack. Thank you,
Hey,
Substack,
now.
for considering us for this audacious award. And thank
get a
you,
plaque.
the listeners, for coming on board with us at Substack, because we couldn't have done it without you. And I'm glad you like the content. If you like it, if you don't, I'm sorry. I'll do better. But regardless, thank you so much for coming along this journey for us, and let's make it another year, and let's get even bigger and bigger. So thank you for that. Historyhomospod.substack.com. If you want to come talk with us at time of recording, still the friendliest place on the internet, the History Homos Telegram group, t.me/historyhomos is the channel, t.me/historyhomos chat is the chat. You can follow us across social media at historyhomospod, and you can email me any questions, comments, or concerns, or if you have t-shirt requests, send me your size and address at historyhomos@gmail.com. And again, I hasten to tell you, we are running out of shirts in the common male sizes. So get it while it's hot, and we will be making a new round of shirts, a new design, and like all the money is just pooling for the t-shirts. So that will be the purchasing money power for that. So get in your shirts now, and it will actually actively get new shirts into circulation. So there's that. So die with dignity. Anything else? No, I can't think of it. History Homos Pod everywhere across social media. Yeah, die with dignity. Patrick, anything you want to quote? Maybe you want to read to say goodbye.
No, man. I just want to go lay down and think about my canning.
Great. Yes. Good point. Later, homos. Oh no, I'm trying to hit stop and it won't work. Later, homos.
She's shining, she's the only one to see. She's shining, she's the only one for him. She's shining, she's the only song to sing. She's shining, she's the only one for him. She's alive. Rising in the morning, I see the king sitting on the throne. He's sitting there, sitting